Hello guys, what is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. I cannot believe I'm about to say this right now, but this is episode number 100. We did it, guys. We made it to the 100 episode milestone. It has been a journey. This has been somewhat 3 years of my life, a lot of late nights up editing and whatnot, but we've officially made it to triple digits. I was having a sort of long think about what I was going to do when I hit this 100 episode milestone, and to be honest, there was no other sort of option for me because the podcast has always been about the kind of community of sort of film enthusiasts and film lovers and filmmakers and writers and directors and actors. And I'm super, super grateful for everybody I've met through doing this project, some of whom are going to be featured in this very episode, talking about one film from 2025, one film that they want to highlight, they want to spotlight, have a little conversation with myself. We're going to throw in some quick fire questions, some hot takes maybe from 2025, as well as some bold film predictions for 2026. So guys, strap in. It's going to be a great one. So without further ado, let's get started. So you, right?
Oh, sorry. Okay, fine.
Okay. Well, hello, Amy. Welcome back.
Hello.
This is your second season finale.
Yes, thank you.
How lucky of you? No.
No, very lucky.
Amy, we've got a I want to say controversial film to talk about in a bit, but before we get on into that, I'm going to shoot you some quickfire questions. Is that right? Cool. So, Amy, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
I like Jason Statham films, so The Working Man was fun. You go in and you get what you expect. It's just Jason Statham as a working man.
I can't say I've had the pleasure, but I'll give it a go. What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in 2025?
I liked Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I think it's underrated. I think the way he commits to his stunts, they were insane, and his actual performance as an actor is underrated because the stunts are so big. So, Tom.
Amy, what is your most underrated film of 2025?
The Roses with Olivia Colman.
Yep.
I think it got covered. It came out in August, so it's kind of a summer, gets missed in the cinema. It's funny. The way Olivia Colman swears, it's like no other. Or Heart Eyes. I started my horror journey this year. So.
Oh, you did? Didn't you?
And I think Heart Eyes was underrated. It was fun.
Okay. Who is your breakout star of 2025?
Leo Woodall in Tuna and Mad About the Boy.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what Tuna is.
Yeah. It was a surprise film that we got at London Film Festival this year. And he's a piano tuner that then gets involved in heists
he's not a fish.
Unlock safes. Yeah.
Yeah. Last question regarding 2025. What is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
This shocked me because I hate comedy, but the only lines that stick with me are from The Naked Gun, the new one. So I like the one where it's like, have you ever heard of Miranda rights? I'm pretty sure it's Carrie that writes Miranda's a lawyer. I don't know. I found it funny.
And moving on to 2026, Amy, what is your bold film prediction for 2026?
Well, this is going to...
We love controversy.
I don't think Doomsday will make $1 billion.
Oh, Alex.
Come back in December next year. No.
We've got The Odyssey and we've got Dune Messiah coming out next year. Mm-hmm. In many ways, those two look like they might be the pinnacle of 2026. Which of the two are you most looking forward to, and which do you think is going to be better?
I'm most looking forward to The Odyssey. Okay. I love Nolan, and as much as I love Dune, I think it's going to be hard to stay on that consistency. Yeah. So I'm more looking forward to The Odyssey. It's fresh. Aside
from The Odyssey, aside from Dune Messiah, aside from Doomsday, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
Sunrise on the Reaping, the Hunger Games film.
Oh, yeah, thought so. Yeah. And Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson
are going to be back, apparently, rumours.
Now, Amy, the cinema is a special place. So for you, why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
For me, I'm such a sucker for being distracted on my phone. Even with Netflix releases, I find it really hard to just completely put it away. Yeah. So just going to the cinema, turning it off, it's just the escapism of it. Yeah. It's just perfect. You don't really know where you are. You could be in any cinema and you're just with yourself in the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just perfect.
Yeah. Finally, Amy, will 2026 be a better year for films than 2025?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I think it could be. You got some big names, big blockbuster names, and should be interesting.
It should be interesting indeed. Okay, so Amy, would you like to tell everybody what your chosen film of 2025 is.
My chosen film is A House of Dynamite.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, A House of Dynamite. As we mentioned, sort of somewhat at the start, controversial pick, but it's actually a pick that I'm actually so glad someone's actually chosen to speak about. For anybody who hasn't heard of the film, how would you summarize this in a few words?
It's a Catherine Bigelow political thriller about an unidentified missile that gets launched somewhere in the sea, and it's about a race for different US State Departments to try and figure out who launched it, why, and what the consequences are going to be. Yep.
So very, very sort of tense premise.
Yes.
And Catherine Bigelow, of course, she's no stranger to sort of, political dramas, with films like The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. Of course, this is a Netflix film, but you've seen the film multiple times if I'm...
Seen it twice, yeah.
Seen it twice,
so I first saw it on Netflix,
yes.
And then we saw it in theatre, in an Everyman, which was a better experience watching it in the cinema. I wish it had a wider theatrical release.
Do you want to elaborate on that second experience a little bit?
It was the best moment of my year, my life. No, it was it had a Q&A following the film with the cast and crew. So you had Catherine Bigelow, you had Volker, I've forgotten his name.
Composer.
Yeah, the composer. He was fascinating to listen to. Noah Oppenheim and the producer Greta, and then Rebecca Ferguson.
Who?
Yeah.
Who was that last person you said?
She won the X Factor in 2007, I think, from Liverpool.
Oh yeah, there was a Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah,
Not her, no.
Not her. There was. Rebecca Ferguson is obviously. I mean, there's no other way to say it. She's your favorite actor.
Yeah, she is.
And you got to. I mean, I saw this come up on my social media, and I was like, you know what? Amy's just completed life.
It happened.
She's met her idol. How was that experience meeting?
It was incredible. I mean, listening to them talk was fascinating.
Yeah.
They gave such a great insight into the film and the makings of it and what it's about and the impact of it. And Rebecca was just so lovely afterwards.
Yeah.
She lived up to the, they say don't meet your heroes, but if they're Rebecca Ferguson.
So A House of Dynamite, Amy, this film, I think it's fair to say, has got somewhat of a mixed response from, critics and audiences alike. And I mentioned that I'm actually really glad someone is speaking about this film, because I do think it's one of the most controversial films of the year. What about A House of Dynamite stands out for you, and why did you love it so much?
I liked the ending, which is the controversial part,
so
spoilers, but it really leaves it open to conversation, which is the whole point of the film, to go away and let the whole premise of the film stay with you and talk about not just, what did you think happened, but like, why did this happen? And I mean, this could have happened, it could be happening right now, it could have happened yesterday. This sort of thing could have actually happened because we wouldn't know. And I just think it's an important wake-up call and conversation to have. And it's just really interesting. I found it interesting. Yeah,
absolutely. I think because when Clara and I watched it, we immediately went on online afterwards and sort of looked up like what the actual situation is with like nuclear missiles, how likely this is, who has the most nuclear missiles, all these kind of different things. And I think it's very rare for a film to actually immediately get you to go out and just research some of the details. So I completely back you on that for sure. There's a lot of tense moments in the film. What is a moment that stood out to you in A House of Dynamite?
I think it didn't really hit me until we went to the Q&A and they described it. But the first room where they try and... They're all really young, and I think what they then the crew realised when they were doing the casting is how young these people with these decisions to make and responsibility on their shoulders, which you don't really think about because you don't think this sort of thing happens in real life, but such a huge responsibility rests on such young people's shoulders. And I think it's just realising that that's real, and it's just quite daunting and scary if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. You kind of get this idea that like nobody's actually qualified enough. No one will ever be as qualified enough to make any kind of decision like that. Like even the president in the film,
Well, Catherine Bigelow said in her research that they, all the departments that you saw in all three of the acts, they all get, the first two, they do trial runs like this, like multiple times a week. So they know what to do, but the president doesn't have time to go through any trial runs. Yeah. So at the end, when Idris Elba's character, the president, gets handed the book, like that would be the first time he ever sees it because they just don't have time in his schedule or their schedule, the president, to ever go through that.
Yeah.
So
again, the word controversial keeps coming up here, but and the ending is very controversial for a lot of people. But to people who maybe have put seeing this because of the mixed response or whatnot, why would you actually recommend this film to them?
I think it's intense, and when Catherine Bigelow comes out with a film, she's got something to say. So you should go and see it because it's relevant and it makes you think. And I like the 3 different acts. People say that you're not really getting much more of an insight, but I think that's wrong. I think you do. And I like the different layovers that you see and the crossovers and the bigger understanding that you get, but you still don't get the full picture because we're not privy, we don't have the full picture, no one ever will. So I think it's just important, and I think it's a good film to see, and it starts a conversation. Yeah,
absolutely. And Amy, if you weren't talking about House of Dynamite, what other film from 2025 would you be talking about?
Probably F1.
Yeah, you're a big F1 fan, right?
Yeah, I am, and it was a good summer blockbuster.
It was indeed. Well, thank you so much, Amy. That's a wrap. Okay. Hello, Mathew.
What's up? How we going?
Do you know who else says hello? Has anyone seen Daredevil? You have, right? Yeah. You know, Electra, she comes in, she's like, hello, Mathew. So, Mathew, welcome back on the couch.
It has been a minute. We were last here for Sinners.
We were here for Sinners, yes. But you're not... Yeah. But you're not going to be talking about Sinners today. You're going to be talking about something else. But before we get to that film, I'm going to throw you some quickfire questions. Yep. Okay. Mathew, you messaged me the other day saying, geez, I am so spoiled for choice on hot takes. So without further ado, do you want to tell everyone what your movie hot take of 2025 is?
I'm just going to not look at this side of the room. Now You 3 Me is better than Weapons.
Okay.
And I stand by that.
Okay.
It's literally one higher on my ranking for the year, but it's still better.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Look at Alex's face.
That was just one that I knew people wouldn't agree with.
Good. Do you have any other hot takes at the back of your mind that you would
28 Weeks Later wasn't top 20?
It wasn't top 20?
Nah. It's because it's not important.
Okay. We might come back with some more hot takes later, but what is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in 2025?
I really wanted to say Timmy after seeing Marty Supreme yesterday, but I think Leo just edges it for me. Okay. I think there's scenes where Leo's not the best, but that's just because everyone around him is so much better, whereas Timmy is the best in every scene, but I think Leo just hit higher highs for me.
Okay, so you're saying the peak of his performance?
The peak is his, and obviously consistently, just amazing.
Yeah. Okay. What, in your opinion, is the most underrated film of 2025?
I don't think it's underrated with like our sort of like film people, but more everyday people need to watch I Swear. Like that's a beautiful movie. Yeah. I think it's 5 or 6 for me for this year.
Who is your breakout star of 2025?
I think some people will probably mention Chase Infinity. It's a go-to, but I think Mason Thames. He's been in a couple movies already, but he did How to Train Your Dragon this year. He did Regretting You. He also had Black Phone 2. I think just coming out of only done a few roles here and there, he really had a big year, and he's just so likable.
What is your favorite line, or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
There's one in Marty Supreme that I want to leave for people that haven't seen it. So I'm going to go Keanu Reeves in Good Fortune when he was like, yeah, I am a good boy. It just made me laugh. Or Seaman Demon. The line delivery on that was it got me so bad in the cinema.
Now, looking ahead to 2026, Mathew, what is your bold film prediction for 2026?
See, I struggled with this one more than the hot take, but I feel like obviously Star Wars is a cheat code. It's like printing money, but I don't think fans are going to love Mandalorian and Grogu as much as maybe they hope they will.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I just think people are going to want to enjoy it more than it pulls off.
Interesting.
But it will obviously be successful box office wise because it's cheat code.
The Odyssey or Dune Messiah, which are you most excited for? And which do you think is better?
It's easy for me. It's The Odyssey because Christopher Nolan's my favorite director. He's the man I've given the most 5 stars to. And also just growing up, I was a big Greek mythology sort of kid. So it's definitely The Odyssey.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your off the top of your head of favorite Greek mythology film?
Percy Jackson? Logan Lerman? No.
Do you remember the scene in the apartment? It's when he's attacking Gabe. Yeah. He's like, don't talk to my mom like that, you bald-headed freak.
See?
We just spoke about The Odyssey. We just spoke a little bit about Dune Messiah. Plus, let's say the Avengers films, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Aside from those, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
I'm glad because I don't actually have to wait too long for it. It's Project Hail Mary.
Oh yeah, Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Same. Yeah, Andy Weir wrote the book. Same guy as The Martian. I haven't picked up a book in years, to be honest, and I got Project Hail Mary to read, and I couldn't put it down. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see how they do this, and obviously Ryan Gosling, he's so lovable. So yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Why do you think, the theatrical experience, in your opinion, is the best way to watch a film?
Well, I mean, like, obviously when directors and cinematographers and everyone involved in making these movies are making them, they have the format of the big screen and the sound equipment and everything involved in mind when they're making it. So obviously it is the best way to watch it. But despite the rapid decline in cinema etiquette, which is, I think, pissing all of us off every time we go, it just is the best way to enjoy it. And I mean, I can't imagine growing up and not being able to just go 5 minutes down the road in New Zealand to the event cinemas and getting the popcorn, and because nothing beats the popcorn at the movies in New Zealand and like America specifically. Like the popcorn here, don't love as much. So yeah, there's just nothing that can beat a day out to the movies like that.
Sure. And finally, your final quickfire question, Matthew. What do you think? Do you think 2026 is going to be a better year for cinema than 2025?
I think this year we were quite lucky to get so many original films that were like really popular and we loved so much and they're really good. But there is just so much coming out next year. I think obviously Dune, Messiah, The Odyssey, those are like going to be pinnacle film culture moments, as well as like the nerd in me is going to be eating good with like Brand New Day and Doomsday. So I do think it's going to be better. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of your quickfire questions. Do you want to tell everyone what your film of 2025 or your chosen film of 2025 is? So it's not my absolute most famous one, but I wanted to pick something that's a bit more most people haven't seen this, so it's Splitsville.
Just show of hands, who's seen Splitsville?
Exactly. Wow. My point. That's why I want to shine a bit of light on it.
Yeah. We watched it on the plane actually just recently. Yeah. So Splitsville, as you can see, not super popular in the room. So this is actually going to be quite educational. In a few words, how would you describe the film? What is the film about?
It's about these like two couples who are like a group of friends who pretty much everything just falls apart and turns to chaos when, a bit of jealousy, a bit of wrong decisions as they start breaking up and being open relationships, and everything just becomes a big mess. And it's just that screwball comedy that you don't get a lot of these days, which I grew up on and I love. So it's nice to see that in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And when was the first time you watched the film?
I would love to say I watched it in like a packed out cinema with people that loved it as much as I did, but I put it on at home thinking absolutely nothing of it, almost in the background, and it became one of my biggest surprises of the year.
I know you just said that, it's not a super popular choice and that's partly why you wanted to speak about it, but what about this film stood out for you above a lot of other films?
I think there was a scene in particular, which I think you mentioned in your Letterboxd, that you wish it had come later, and it was the fight scene, which I agree with you. If it had come later, it would have been great, but it was some of the best fight choreography in 2025, in my opinion. Like I said, most people haven't seen it. I quite enjoyed Ballerina, maybe more than some other people with the action-wise, but the choreography in that fight was amazing. It was just hilarious. So
yeah, and just to preface, guys, this is a comedy. This is not an action film, and it's like
it came out of nowhere, and I was not expecting it. Also, like how long and detailed, and like I said, the choreography involved in it, took me by surprise, but it was just so delightful. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that's like a standout moment. Were there any other moments in the film that you remember and particularly stand out to you?
I mean, probably the guy that wrote the movie.
Yes.
Getting his penis out 3 times. It's quite big.
I'm just gonna clip that.
I think it might have been prosthetics, and I'm not surprised that he wrote this into the movie himself. Also, being in a relationship with Adria Ahona, you can tell he wrote this movie, but game's the game.
Yeah, we watched it on the flight, and they blurred out.
Oh yeah, every time. Half the movie blurred.
Yeah, and I guess this is quite a weird film to talk about, connection and impact on you personally.
I relate to it a lot.
Yeah. But I guess in a year that does have some huge hitters and there's a lot of political satires and dramas and there's a lot of sort of darker films. Splitsville stands out to me because it's just one of the films that you can just kind of sit back and laugh at the most. So why do you think 2025 needed Splitsville, and what do you hope that Splitsville goes on to do? Does it inspire more comedies?
Yeah, well, as a guy who's been in a monogamous relationship for nearly 7 years, can't relate to it too specifically myself, but I grew up on the comedies and the rom-coms of the great generation when you could put a comedy in a movie theater and it would make hundreds of millions of dollars, where these days they just absolutely flop. So seeing more screwball comedies like this, and I think Alex mentioned The Roses, or Amy I think mentioned The Roses, those sort of movies, seeing those comedies come back and actually work and not just be absolute shit. It's really great to see for someone that I loved those sort of movies growing up.
Absolutely. And you've kind of spoken a lot about why the film is great, but if there's one reason why you would recommend this to someone, what would it be?
I think that people that went into the materialists hoping for this, also Dakota Johnson, but this comedy, this twisted, confusing romance, obviously between three of them. In this case, it's four. I think this is what The Materialists failed to be. And so that's why it needs a bit more attention, because I think most people I saw didn't love The Materialists. So give Splitsville a try.
Yeah, well said. And finally, Mathew, if you weren't talking about Splitsville, what other film of 2025 would you be talking about?
I think it's pretty obvious. Now you three me.
Can you briefly just lay it all on the ground? What is it with Now You See Me films in you?
There is no surprise to people that follow my letterbox or anything. I love the Now You See Me movies. I grew up as a big magic kid. My granddad got me into magic and that sort of thing. So magic, as well as, you know, plot twists and things like that. Obviously, it's like a baby version of The Prestige, the original one. The second one, it's not as good. And so the third one, you know, bringing back Isla Fisher, bringing everyone back involved, I'm always going to have a good time with those. And then when it comes to when I said it was better than Weapons, I'm not the biggest horror guy. I still enjoyed Weapons more than I usually would, but I had some issues with it. So it's literally one spot lower on my list, and it's like in the 30s or something like that.
Sure.
But it is still, I stand by it. It's better.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mathew. That's a wrap on Mathew. Yeah.
I knew that Weapons one wasn't going to go down.
This is horrid. Right, let's go.
No pressure. God. Hello, sir. Hello, Riley. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
You?
I'm really good. It's so
Good.
nice to have you on a season finale.
I know.
Well, before you talk about your film of 2025, I'm going to run you through some quick fire questions. Is that okay?
Of course.
Let's do it. Okay, so first up, we're going straight in there. What is your movie hot take of 2025?
Trailers are starting to spoil everything. From next year, I'm not going to watch any trailers.
Very good.
Ever again.
Good. What is your favorite performance, or one of your favorite performances in 2025?
Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon.
Very nice. Very nice.
Amazing.
What is, in your opinion, the most underrated film of 2025?
Either Blue Moon or Train Dreams. Train Dreams kind of just slipped onto Netflix without anyone knowing anything.
Need to see it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This one is always a fun one to do, but what is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
There's a line in Train Dreams where Kerry Condon says, we need, I can't remember what it is exactly. We need a recluse in the forest as much as we need a preacher in the pulpit. Something like that.
Interesting.
Something like that, and it was really cool.
Cool. Now, moving on to sort of 2026, what is your bold film prediction for 2026?
I think horrors are going to become a lot more they're gonna win some stuff. I think
at the
Oscars.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like they're getting more mainstream now, and I feel like the Oscars just need to grow up and give one an Oscar.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Yeah. The Odyssey or Dune Messiah. What are you looking forward to more? What's going to be better?
At the moment, I'm looking forward to the Odyssey because it's closer.
Yeah.
But as soon as that's over, it'll be Dune.
Okay, interesting. And do you reckon the Odyssey is going to be the film of next year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Aside from the Odyssey, aside from Dune Messiah, aside from Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day.
Very nice. Very nice. Why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch movies?
I feel like if you're going to watch a film, why not watch it in the best way possible? So go to the cinema, sit on your own, sit in silence, don't look at your phone, just be in the film.
Well said. And finally, Riley, will 2026 be a better year for cinema than 2025?
I think so. I think we've got some big old directors bringing out some big old films, and many people are going to go to the cinema and see them.
Very well said, mate. So now we're going to go on to your film of 2025, or your chosen film of 2025. Could you tell us a little bit about F1 and summarize it in a few words?
F1 is a fast-paced, high-action, high-octane sports film, if you can call it that, made for IMAX. It puts you in an F1 car, and not many films can say that they've done that. Joseph Kosinski is just incredible at giving people experiences they could never experience anywhere else.
We actually reviewed the film on the couch.
We did. That was the last time I was here.
Yes, indeed. But to sort of give the folks a little bit of a reminder, when was the first time you experienced the film? Where did you see it?
It was the multimedia at Cineworld, Leicester Square.
The IMAX.
IMAX, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, the best possible way to see the film.
It was the best possible way.
So why have you picked F1? What is it about F1 that stands out to you?
It was in my top 4 for a while. Shocker. Sorry, guys. And it was my film of the year up until a certain Paul Thomas Anderson came along and flipped the script.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I loved it. I love F1. I love Joseph Kosinski as a director. It's incredible film.
Yeah, I feel like in many ways it's like the pinnacle of like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And, you know, one could say like, you know, it has kind of predictable elements. It's somewhat formulaic, but like you said, when you're in the car with the drivers, there isn't really anything that kind of compares to that.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Favorite moment in the film?
It's a bit cringe, but you know, right? Spoilers alert. You know, right at the end where Kerry Condon, she's come up twice now. She says he's flying, and he's just going, and it's tears in my eyes.
And F1 in general, yes, it is a sort of big kind of sports drama. It's got one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. What is it about the film? You mentioned that you're an F1 fan. What is it about this film that maybe had a connection with you, like a personal impact on you?
I said, it just puts you in the seat of the car, and like people are never going to get that experience. Yeah. So it was just like, I don't know, it gave you the experience of F1 without being there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Would you be excited to see a sequel to it?
I don't know. No? I don't think so. I think it's a good standalone. Okay. I think leave it there.
Okay.
I think Sunny Hayes is done.
Yeah. I'm sure you've just discussed, but if someone hasn't seen F1, why would you tell them to go see it?
Just go watch it. Even if you don't like F1.
Yeah.
It's a film that's going to get your heart racing. You're going to watch it and you're going to enjoy it. There's action without action. It's funny. It looks visually impeccable. Yeah. What more do you want?
And it's got a kick-ass score by Hans Zimmer, right?
And it's got Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I would be playing the Hans Zimmer score, but I don't want to get copyrighted.
Yeah, that's so true.
And finally, Riley, if you weren't talking about F1, I think you've already hinted at it, but if you weren't talking about F1, which release from 2025 would you be talking about?
Blue Moon.
Oh, okay.
Blue Moon. I loved that film so much.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you, Riley.
No worries.
Hi. Wait, I really have to look down there.
But, I mean,
that's crazy. Riley, were you looking down the camera?
I was looking down the camera.
Really?
I was looking to Dylan, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would prefer to talk to Dylan. That's what I want to do.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
So nice to finally have you back on the couch.
I know, it's been a while.
This time in focus, hopefully.
Was it not in focus?
It was ever so slightly out of focus last time.
I didn't, Clara.
It's quite a daunting background you have on, all this red. I wonder what film you're going to be talking about. But
that's my solo screenings, Rad.
There you go. Before we get talking about your film of 2025, Alex, I'm going to throw you some quick fire questions. So first up, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
Okay, my movie hot take of 2025 is that I don't mind a live action remake.
I will say, I did actually think of this as a hot take, but yeah, I'm so happy.
Because controversially, I really didn't mind Lilo and Stitch. Okay. And I really loved How to Train Your Dragon. And I'm excited for the second How to Train Your Dragon. So keep giving them to me and I will be sat.
Okay. Fair enough. What is your favourite or one of your favourite performances in 2025?
Amy Madigan, Weapons.
Nice.
Gladys is just the best character.
Yeah.
It's incredible, yeah.
What is, in your opinion, the most underrated film of 2025
I would give it to Train Dreams, or I would give it to Sorry Baby, which was Ava Victor's directorial debut this year, which she was incredible. It was so funny, yeah.
And who is your breakout star of 2025?
I'm giving it to the Jupe brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Noah and Jacoby in Hamnet.
Very nice.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
Yeah. The last one sort of relating to 2025. What is your favourite or one of your favourite lines from a film in 2025?
Viva la Revolution.
Yeah. Now, Alex, looking ahead to 2026, give it to me. What is your bold film prediction of 2026?
Avengers Doomsday is going to make $3 billion.
$3 billion?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said bold. I went bold.
Okay. I like it. $3 billion, which would make it the highest grossing film of all time.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
They got Steve Rogers back. Spoilers.
Looking to two other blockbusters next year. We've got Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and we've got Denis Villeneuve's Dune Messiah. Which one are you most looking forward to and which do you think is going to be better?
The Odyssey for both of those.
Okay.
I mean, I love Dune. I will always love Dune. It's an incredible franchise. But yeah, I'm hoping for something, just a spectacle. Nolan, which he always does. So yeah, he is one of the best directors ever. So I have confidence.
Yeah. And excluding some of the films we just spoken about, so Doomsday, Messiah, and The Odyssey, aside from those, and say aside from Spider-Man Brand New Day, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
I'm going to say Digger. The teaser dropped recently and it looks so bizarre, and that will just have me sat. So yeah, it looks very cool. Tom Cruise doing some weird stuff. Yeah, I'm excited.
And Alex, the cinema is a special place.
Yes.
Why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
I think we're all going to have the same answer, but it's just an escape. It's like the best place on earth, really. When things are feeling slow in life, you just get yourself down to the cinema, put yourself in a movie for 2.5 hours, and life can't get better than that.
And finally, Alex, will 2026 be a better year for film than 2025?
I'm thinking yes.
Yeah?
Yes. It's huge hitters next year.
Yeah.
Spielberg, Nolan, Dune. We got 2 Marvel movies. They're going to get some bums in the cinema, basically.
Yes.
So it's a big year.
Amazing. Well, that sort of brings us to the end of your quickfire questions. Now we're going to talk about your film of 2025. Exciting stuff. So, guys, if you couldn't tell the red in the background.
Oh, is it purposeful?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not like that for every single So, Alex, would you like to kindly reveal what film 2025 you're going to be talking about?
Yes, my film is 28 Years Later.
There we go, 28 Years Later. So for anyone who hasn't heard of 28 Years Later, in a few words, how would you summarize this? What's your elevator pitch?
Okay, well, it's obviously part of a franchise.
Yeah.
And it's set 28 years later after the rage virus. And we're kind of following a young boy and his family who are in a settlement who live off the mainland, which is sort of untouched by the zombies. And it's kind of about this young boy who's been living, well, he was born in this virus. So he's just trying to explore the world and yeah, it's an emotional, scary, thrilling movie. And yeah, it's full of surprises. So, yeah.
We actually met a couple of weeks ago. Not for the first time, but we went out for drinks a couple of weeks ago. And you were like pleading with me to give you this film for a specific reason.
Yes.
Do you want to tell the folks why you want to talk about this film?
Yes. My dad is a retired fireman. And as part of his retirement, he is doing fire safety for film and TV. And he got to work on 28 Years Later and The Bone Temple, which is obviously out in January. And it was the best movie that he's ever worked on. And he raves about it so much. So it was really special because we got to see it together. And it was very cool learning about all the, like watching the film and then coming out afterwards with him. And he's kind of explaining those scenes to me. It was just, it was very cool. Yeah, so it's special to me.
Oh, amazing. And, aside from your sort of fatherly connection, I want to say, to the film, what about 28 Years Later stands out to you?
I think it's purely it's so emotion fueled, and I don't really expect that from a 28 film.
Yeah.
Because I don't think 28 Days or Weeks had those emotional moments. I think that was the biggest surprise to me, is just how hard hitting and just the whole monologue regarding, remembering a past life. And I like to, I like to describe it as like a eulogy to that. So yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's like it's a zombie film that will just make you bawl your eyes.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, literally.
And the film has so many amazing moments, so many sequences. What is a moment from 28 Years Later that stands out to you?
Can I give 2?
Yeah, go for
it. The first one, I think, is when Spike and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, the father character, they head over to the mainland for the first time, and we hear that Boots poem, which is obviously a huge part of the marketing, and I didn't expect to hear it in the film. But there's also these cuts to so many like features from the past and real life, and it was just really interesting to hear that and him explain how the causeway works. I just thought that was a really cool sequence in the movie. And then I think obviously the really sad moment where Jodie Comer's character passes.
Spoiler. Yeah.
Spoiler.
It's fine.
Spoiler. And there's a scene where her son Spike lays her skull to rest at the top of the Bone Temple, and there's this amazing score in the background by Young Fathers, and it's just it had me bawling my eyes out. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I went to see that with Clara, and we just like both looked at each other with like floods of tears.
It was hard.
It was a tough moment to watch. But you've mentioned your dad, and you've mentioned like this massive emotional moment in the film. Aside from that, how did the film connect with you, sort of thematically, maybe, or maybe personally? Is there anything you could take away from 28 years later?
I think everyone can take something away. I think there is just this whole, as I said, like monologue about not forgetting the life before. Obviously, we're not struck by zombies, but just memories, and never forgetting those moments, no matter what hardships that you face in your life, and these any horrific, traumatic moment. Just don't forget the happy times, and the good times, and keep your memories safe.
Yeah. Can you do your best zombie impression? No, I'm joking.
Don't make me do that. me hungover on a Sunday morning. That's my best zombie impression.
You've given like so many reasons as to why this film is great, but if someone who is sort of just putting this film off or hasn't seen it yet, why would you say you gotta rush to see this film?
Because I think it is more than a zombie movie. Like, I think you think of 28, the franchise, and that's immediately what you go to. You think about zombies and gore and horror, but I think this one is just a lot more special in its tone, and just the narrative is beautiful, and you can take a lot away from it. So
it's also a film. It's technically a sequel, but it's also a sequel you don't actually need to have watched the other two films.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's completely separate.
Yes. And of course, you're very excited for the Bone Temple.
Yes, I know some of you.
Some of you guys have seen.
I'm very jealous.
And finally, Alex, if you weren't talking about 28 years later right now, what film would you be talking about?
Marty Supreme.
Do you want to get? It's actually not in the shot. Do you want to actually
lift my leg up?
Okay.
I'd be talking about Marty Supreme.
Very nice. Well, that's a wrap on Alex, guys. Hello, Mr. Movie Comic Junkie.
Hello.
So, Andy, welcome back. This is your second season finale.
Yes.
How's it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels great. It feels so good to see so many faces I haven't seen in ages.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. And do you have a nice Christmas?
I did. Did you?
Yes, very much. So we're going to be talking about, you're in a lot of ways cheating the system here, because you're going to be talking about not one but two films.
That's crazy.
A duo of sorts. Before we get into those, I'm going to throw you some quick fire questions.
Yep.
First up, we have, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
Well, it's sort of slightly been said already today, but I think 28 years later is just bang average, if that.
You might have lost friends. At least you didn't use a TikTok account.
I think he's actually going to cry.
Stop. Guys, composure. Right, up next.
Yeah.
What is your favorite, or one of your favorite performances in a film in 2025?
I think it's like fairly obvious to a lot of people. I think Jessie Buckley in Hamnet was unreal. Mate. I don't normally cry when kids die, but I cried at her crying when kids died. Spoilers for that's a story of Hamlet. It's a story of like William Shakespeare. We know. Yeah.
What is your most underrated film of 2025?
I know a lot of people have seen it, but I think not enough people are talking about it. Blue Moon. I just think Linklater has such a way with words. He's just it's like he's painting the Sistine Chapel with words.
Yeah. Who is your breakout star of 2025?
I know I said I didn't like the movie at all, but I think Alfie Williams in 28 Years Later was... Don't do that. I think it was great, yeah.
What is your favourite, or one of your favourite lines from a film in 2025?
Again, it's just a funny one, but Josh Brolin's "What the fuck" in Weapons. I just feel like it encompassed everything, you know. Like I saw everything in that one moment. Like just the whole dichotomy of good and evil, just everything was just in that "what the fuck." Just the nature of the human condition. Yeah.
Looking ahead to 2026, Andy, what is your bold film prediction for 2026?
I actually think Avengers: Doomsday is going to make close to or as much or as the same amount as Avengers: Endgame.
Okay.
I think it's going to do pretty much just as well.
So this is interesting because we've had Avengers Doomsday won't make $1 billion, and we've had Avengers Doomsday is going to make $3 billion.
Who said 3 billion?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Not that bold, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Cheers.
But speaking of blockbusters, we have The Odyssey and we have Dune Messiah coming out next year. Which of the two are you looking forward to most, and which do you reckon, if you had to predict, is going to be better?
Definitely looking forward to The Odyssey the most. Like, that's just going to make 4-year-old Sandy so happy. That's just, it's everything to me, Dylan. It's everything to me. Which one do I think is going to be better? I genuinely don't know, because I think like Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, they're like at the top of their game. They're just like two of the best working today. I couldn't tell you. It's a coin toss. Yeah.
Aside from those two, and aside from anything the MCU or the DCU are sort of putting out, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
Greta Gerwig's Narnia.
Okay.
Like, I love Narnia.
Yeah, we've spoken a little bit about this, but yeah. And Sandy, I know you just mentioned a film that's going to be somewhat attached to Netflix, but why do you think the theatrical experience, in your opinion, is the best way to watch films?
I just think it's so immersive, you know, just like everything. You sit back, like the room darkens and it's just you and the screen, you know. Like, I tend to go by myself, shout out solo screenings, but yeah, it's just I just genuinely love just like, I don't know, it's like you watch it on your phone or on a TV or a laptop. It's just not the same, right? It's built for the big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, 2026. Do you reckon it's going to be a better year for films than 2025?
I think it's going to be a better year for blockbusters, but film-wise, just looking at like the roster from this year, it's been honestly one of the best years in recent memory. Just off the back of that, I'm going to say no.
Okay,
but we'll see. You know, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that we're going to be discussing not one but two films. Do you want to reveal which duo of films you're going to be talking about?
So I'm going to be talking about, this year's been a big year for Predators. Like, we've had two. Hold on, let me cook. We've had two Predator films. We've had Tron Ares. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to be talking about Predator Badlands and Predator Killer of Killers.
Okay. Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, can you try and summarize?
Sure, yeah. So Predator Killer of Killers, imagine the first Predator. You do that 3 times, and then it's sort of Avengers Endgame at the end. That's a bad explanation, but essentially what we're saying is Predator films are generally about like a character or a group of characters who are considered the apex in whatever field they work in, suddenly being put into the ring with something that's just beyond them, where they're just hopelessly, hilariously outclassed and outgunned. And Predator Killer of Killers essentially runs that in 3 different scenarios, 3 different times, essentially. And then, so I don't really want to spoil which ones they are if you haven't seen them, because they're great. But yeah, so we have 3 heroes in 3 different time periods who eventually come together to face off against a horde of predators, and it's great. And as for Predator Badlands, that is really where it's a very different Predator film to anything we've ever seen before, because normally we have like a central human character to focus on. Predator Badlands, the Predator is the central character, and it's essentially a novice or initiate Yautja who is going off on his first hunt, and we just see how that goes.
Yeah. And Killer of Killers, if I'm not mistaken, went straight to Disney Plus.
Yes, straight to Disney Plus.
Hulu.
Yeah.
But Badlands obviously went to the cinema. Did you go to the multimedia, I want to say?
I was at the premiere. Yeah, it was.
Sorry.
Come on now. Yeah, no, it was
how
great.
How was that?
It was really cool. Eli was there with me, actually. It was sick. Elle Fanning was there. Just
amazing.
Yeah, unreal.
And why? Because you had some options of different films that me and you were sort of running through, but why were you adamant that you wanted to talk about these Predator films?
That's a brilliant point, because you did say, do you want to talk about Train Dreams? And I was like, I could.
I saw you give it 5 stars.
I could talk about Train Dreams. It was my favourite film of the year, and like just a deeply impactful film, you know, just like a really raw dissection of like themes of like loss and longing and loneliness and finding your purpose in life even after what you think your purpose in life has ended. Or I could talk about a film with like a giant mutant lizard-faced freak who like flies off to a foreign planet to use an acid-spitting eel as a shoulder-mounted plasma cannon to fight a giant armadillo. And I was like, that's fun. That's like really fun. And I want to do that. Yeah.
Fair enough. So Dan Trachtenberg, of course, is the guy of the moment. He's the one helming these new Predator films. He did Prey back in, I think it was like 2021, something like that. And just out of nowhere, he seems to have been given this franchise a new breath of life of sorts.
Yeah.
And I would actually say, bar like The Predator, it's one of the most consistent franchises there is.
Yes. Like literally, yes. I think The Predator is the only genuinely bad one, and it's significantly worse than anything else. But like everything else has been like good to great. I think like Predator 2 is the most middling one for me, but all the others are great or good at the very least. And it's, I'm like, he's on essentially like a 3-hit streak at this point with the Predator franchise. And I think it's just, he knows exactly what he's doing. And I also love how it is tying into the Alien franchise, but very subtly, just with like Weyland-Yutani being involved. And I think there's a future there, especially with Alien Earth on Disney Plus as well, which again, there was a lot of that I loved and a lot of it I didn't. But I think world building wise, there's a lot we could do here, and we are moving towards a new Alien v Predator. And we'll see how it goes. Third time's the charm. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And Killer of Killers is it animated?
Yes.
It is animated. Yeah.
Gorgeously animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And if you had to pick between the two, what would you say is your preference?
Killer of Killers, definitely. I think I loved Badlands. I thought it was great, but Killer of Killers was just, I mean, aside from just the animation that I just mentioned, which is just, I feel like we're living in a true renaissance when it comes to animation. In terms of just the way they push the lore of the universe forward, Badlands did as well, but the way Killer of Killers did, just showing us Yautja Prime again, just introducing different kinds of predators outside of just like the super predator or the weird freak thing that we saw in The Predator. I think it takes loads of steps in the right direction in like enriching this world that I just really loved. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, you just mentioned that these films are just so fun to have. Were you a previous fan of the Predator films beforehand, or was this like a new sort of found love for the franchise that you just sort of stumbled and discovered upon?
Oh no, I mean, I think I've loved the Predator franchise since I first watched them, which wouldn't have been that long ago. I want to say it's 5-6 years ago, maybe, when I first watched this franchise, just because as a child I was like, this seems like a scary thing that I don't like. But yeah, no, it's not something that I've recently stumbled into. It's just something that I've known for a while and just continuously keeps improving upon itself, generally speaking.
Is there a moment in any of these two films that is a particular standout without necessarily giving any spoilers?
In Killer of Killers, I think the second portion, or like the second story arc, is really the one that's the best in my opinion, just because I think the protagonist in it is great, and I think the setting, I don't want to give too much away, but the setting is it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, really. It's that setting, and it's great.
Amazing. And again, we've spoken in length a little bit about these films, but if someone has never heard of these films, or just kind of stumbles upon them, why should they choose to watch them?
I just think they are as a baseline, they're sort of popcorn flicks in the sense that they're loads of fun. Yeah. But I also think there's a lot of heart to them. There's a lot of depth to them. I think a lot of the time the characters are, they're caricaturish in part, but a lot of them have a lot of complexity to them, especially in these two, actually, more than any of the others. I think Killer of Killers and Badlands have some of the most complex characters in the Predator universe. But no, that's what I think. I just think if you want like a fun time, they're great. But if you also want some sort of like deeper storytelling or something to really latch onto, this has got that as well. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And Sandy, you mentioned Train Dreams. Aside from Train Dreams, aside from these Predator films, if you could pick any other film this year to talk about, what would it be?
Oh, aside from those two, probably I'd say the next film I was like is the best of the year for me. Probably The Long Walk.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go, guys. That's a wrap on Sandy.
Thank you. Bumbakla.
Hello, Ben.
Hello.
First things first, I do have to say, I love your hoodie.
Thank you. This is the official Mattel as well, by the way. Not a knockoff. I pre-ordered this when Barbie came out, so had to be done.
So great to be having you back on the couch.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
We're going to be talking about one of your favorite films of the year, but before we do that, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
Go for
you ready?
It. Sure.
Okay. So tell me straight up, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
Okay, so I know Weapons already sort of got a little bit on it, so I won't go to that. But I think Pamela Anderson gave one of the best dramatic performances of the year and comedic performances of the year.
So Pamela Anderson as in The Last Showgirl and then Naked Gun.
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. What is we're just speaking about performances, but what is one of your favorite performances from 2025?
I think Robert Aramayo in I Swear gave one of the best performances of the year. I think he was incredible in that film.
And sort of on a similar kind of theme, what is the most underrated film of 2025 in your opinion?
I'm going to stick with Pamela Anderson and go for The Last Showgirl because I don't think near enough as many people saw it. It's such a stripped back performance for her.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of the screening for it with Lauren and thinking it's one of the best films I'd seen up to that point on the year. I think it needs a lot more love than what it got.
Who's your breakout star of 2025?
It's a really easy answer of Chase Infinity.
Yep.
I know it's a popular answer, but that is the one and only for me.
Okay. What is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
So it's the delivery of the line, and it's in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Oh yeah.
And it's when Tom Cruise goes aboard Captain Bledsoe's submarine, and he goes, "Oh, you must be Captain Bledsoe," and he replies saying, "And you must be out of your mind." It is a great line. The delivery of it is perfect.
Now moving on to 2026.
Yes.
Then, tell me, what is a bold film prediction you have for 2026?
I believe that horror as the genre is going to continue on this upwards trajectory that it has. It had a massive year this year. There was tons of features that came out for it. And looking at the slate for next year, there are again a ton of horror films coming out. Some big names, some small. But I feel like horror has been sort of dogged on the last few years, and this year it seemed to make a massive comeback. So I think it's going to carry on this upwards trajectory of it into 2026.
Yeah, just to sort of sneak in a question about horror.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you weren't the biggest fan of weapons. So for you, what was the best horror film of 2025?
Okay, so I would say Nosferatu, which I know a lot of people say 2024 because it came out New Year's Day. But I think Bring Her Back was probably the biggest and best horror film for this year.
Yeah, very good. Moving slightly away from the horror genre, we have two huge films coming out next year. We've got Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and we've got Denis Villeneuve's Dune Messiah. Which of the two are you looking forward to more? Which do you think is going to be better?
It's like what everyone thinks, but I have my tickets secured for The Odyssey at the BFI IMAX on opening night.
We'll see you there. Yeah,
I can't remember a time when you could book tickets for a film this so far in advance. Yeah. And the hype behind it is absolutely incredible. I was mad, actually, when I saw Avatar the other day because I seemed to be the only person who didn't get the footage of the Odyssey beforehand. And I was raging at that.
Where did you see Avatar?
IMAX at my local Cineworld in Basildon. In an IMAX, I didn't get it.
No. Throwing hands.
And I'm still raging about it, actually.
Again, looking ahead to 2026, let's say excluding The Odyssey, Dune Messiah, Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Aside from those, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
I think sort of trying to avoid big blockbusters. And again, it goes down like a sort of horror genre. And that's Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Yeah.
Ready or Not was such a fun horror movie that just came out of nowhere. And I think it took a lot of people by surprise by how good and over the top it was and how funny it was.
Yeah.
So I think getting a sequel to that next year, I think that's one that when it comes out, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, and I believe those two directors, they're going to be doing The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, and I actually saw news on the way up here that Benny, the character in The Mummy, is set to return for The Mummy.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
He starts busting out all the religions.
Oh, okay. You're coming out of the religions. You're on the wrong side of the river.
So moving on to a little more of a kind of bit more of a sentimental point.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about cinemas recently and kind of, the Netflix consolidation, whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
For me, it's the most immersive experience. A few people touched on it earlier, but when you go there and you shut off your phones, you shut off from everything that's going on in your life, you may have problems that you're going on, you got work, you got stress. The couple of hours that you get sat in your seat, in the dark, surrounded by other moviegoers that genuinely want to be locked into the film in front of you. I don't think there's anything like it. I haven't got a screen that big at my house. I don't have the sound quality I have at my house like that. The fact that as a consensus we can all sit there and be immersed into whatever world that we're experiencing in front of us, there is nothing else like it, I don't think.
Yeah, very well said. And finally, Ben, 2026, do you think it's going to be a better year for film than 2025?
I do, because I think this year's really gave a resurgence back to cinema and the movie-going experience. Everyone thinks it's dying off and streaming experiences, but a lot of the big movie stars are really trying to push to get people back into cinemas, and there's a big resurgence of people trying to save the cinema experience. So I think 2026 for films, the amount of big names that are coming out for next year, I think it's going to be bigger than ever.
All right, Ben.
Yeah.
So you're going to be talking about a very special film right now.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell the folks what film you're going to be talking about?
So my 2025 movie release is The Life of Chuck. Mike Flanagan's The Life of Chuck.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, Life of Chuck, I want to say, wasn't the most popular film of the year.
No.
Or nowhere close to it. For those people who don't know what the film is about, how would you summarize it?
It's really hard to say anything about it without spoiling it, but it's kind of like existential drama of going through a character's life in reverse in 3 separate acts of the death of Charles Krantz to his adult life in the second part, and the third life, his childhood. And basically it's a journey of in reverse of where he came from to the point he is now, and how he came to be at that stance.
Yeah, and it's also adapted from a
Stephen King book, yeah. And it's not your typical Stephen King. Obviously, you really relate to him as horror. But this, like I said, is very melodramatic. It's an existential drama of life, and it's also... It's got subtle supernatural elements to it, but it's definitely not like the main theming of the film or the story.
Yeah, you mentioned that, when you think of Stephen King, you think of sort of horror. And
of course.
And The Shining. But also Mike Flanagan is,
big on horror, yeah.
Horror
I mean,
director.
Netflix, Haunting of Bly Manor, Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass.
Yeah, and this is him also sort of stepping out of his comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, because he has done full-length feature films before he even done the Netflix stuff. He done Oculus, Gerald's Game. So this was something completely not what you would expect from Mike Flanagan or a Stephen King, dramatization of a book. So it's something that I don't think anyone expected from either of those artists and what they have done previously.
And I know, because I've been following you on social media, that this year one of your huge sort of things is trying to go to the cinema 100 times.
Yes.
What number are we currently?
I have done 101.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I have done 101, so I'm technically on my 102nd, but we got there.
The Life of Chuck, you also watched as part of this?
Yes, I watched it at a Cineworld Unlimited screening. So again, you're saying about the cinema experience, those are really good because they are just for members of Cineworld. So it's not like your average moviegoer. So it's not going to be phones out everywhere or talking. It's people that genuinely want to go and see the film. So again, it was a great experience because it was dead silence with everyone. Everyone reacted to the same things as good as everyone else. There was no phones, nothing like that. So it was also a really good experience seeing the film that way.
100%. I think that's actually a really good point, is like sort of going into 2026, if anybody is still deliberating on whether or not to get membership,
100% do it.
Yeah, when they do those member screenings, it is like no bullshit, phones off.
Go in there, lock in.
Exactly.
And sometimes you get them early as well. I think we saw it maybe like a week earlier before it came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just plain and simple, why The Life of Chuck? Why was this one of your standout films?
It's because I think it's the most thought-provoking film I've seen this year. It's stuck with me the entire time I've seen it. I think the messages in the film resonated with a lot going on this year. For me, the film is about living the life that you want to live it, and to remember the good times and to hold on to those and not try and let other people determine what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
And that your own life should be seen as a universe that you're crafting and you're creating, and that the world carries on after your universe might stop. So again, spoiler alert, sorry if anyone nobody's seen it, but Charles Krantz, the main character, dies in the first part of the film, and that act completely throws everyone off because it's like a world-ending event because you don't know the backstory yet, and like I said, it goes in reverse. That's his universe crumbling with his death. But inside that universe, you see how many people he's met along his journey of life, how many people he's affected by living in that life. And then you get to learn his passions when he was a child. He loved dancing, and that was his passion and his craft, and that's what he wanted to do. But this film has such a star-studded cast as well, all over the place. Mark Hamill plays his grandfather in the film, who...
One of his best performances, actually.
Yeah, he was... his serious tones like this, he's done it with Mike Flanagan before, where he's a little bit sinister as well, which you don't expect from Mark Hamill. Really plays down Charles Krantz as a child's dream of wanting to do anything with dance. He says, you're not going to make any money from it. You should get into what I'm doing. I think he was an accountant, getting into money, and that's what he ends up doing when he's older. But it's really a message of do you in life and do the things that you love to do, because you never know when those chances are going to get taken away.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you've kind of spoken about the film, I think a lot of people might just think it is this sort of serious kind of drama, but there is actually so much levity to it. You mentioned the dancing. There is there's multiple incredible dance sequences in the film.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston.
In part 2, Tom Hiddleston, there is like a 5-minute dance scene that he does as in his adult life. He's basically on his lunch from work. He's an accountant, something that he doesn't find interesting at all, but it's something his granddad pushed him towards. And he just hears this street drummer playing, they're busking, playing drums, and he just bursts out into dance. And you can see it's like taking him back to his childhood. He hasn't been able to like release himself like this in however many years. He hasn't been dancing, and you can see the joy in his life and his face, and that was his true passion. And he ends up getting someone from the crowd that he gets a big crowd around him. And I remember seeing it in the cinema, and when the scene ended, I almost wanted to applaud. Like, we was all sat in there and was like, what have we just witnessed, like it being in there?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of my favourite scenes of the year, because the amount of joy that it brings, and it makes you forget about the whole first part of this devastation of this world ending and losing these characters, to the utmost joy in seeing him wanting to do something that he's always wanted to do, and just forgetting about life for however many minutes he was dancing. It was him in that moment enjoying what he wants to do.
Absolutely. And obviously the film is like super profound, and it's like this kind of slice of life type of film.
Yeah.
How did the film have a connection with you personally? Did it have an impact on you?
100%. Like I said, I think it's my most thought-provoking film this year, and I've thought about it so much since I've seen it, and there's so many life lessons to take from it, of you wanting to enjoy what you want to do. Don't let others try to mould yourself. It doesn't matter if there's people close to you, if it's your family members. If there's something you enjoy, you should go out and do it. Like I said, I've been through like tough times this year, like I'm sure like many others have, but you need to grasp hold of the good times and let that shape who you are, and try not to think about things that have either gone wrong in life or it didn't go the way that you wanted. Stick true to yourself and do what you want to do.
You're really... Oh my gosh. Yeah, really well said, Ben. That's fantastic. If you weren't talking about the life of Chuck, any other films that you might have?
I'm going to go right to the other end of the scale, and I'll talk about The Naked Gun, because I've been waiting for like physical comedy films to make a comeback, and I think comedy is just so forgotten about, and people don't find them funny anymore, or it's such a hard audience to grasp with comedy now. To bring something back, that was it around in the 70s and 80s, the legendary Leslie Nielsen coming back for Liam Neeson to be in this one. I think The Naked Gun deserves so many plaudits for being a genuinely funny comedy film out in 2025, which I think is just so hard to do now. Yeah. Like an out-and-out comedy film.
Yeah, I mean, well said, man. Well said. Well, that's a wrap on Ben, guys. Yeah.
Well done, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Jesus Christ, you're going to be crying, man. Okay, all right. Hello, guys.
What's going on, mate?
It's nice to have you back on the couch, man. Last time you were here, we were talking about like Daredevil and stuff, and now we're gonna
good time.
Yeah, really good time.
Yeah.
We got a lot of views on those.
What can I say, man?
With the people were loving it.
It was the quiz we did. That went off as well. I had to do this show or that show.
Oh yeah, picking between two shows. Those always do well. Okay, so guys, you got a very exciting film to talk about. One of the most exciting films of the year, I will say. Don't let Mathew tell you otherwise. But before we talk about that film, we're going to do some quick fire questions.
Decent.
So let's go straight into them. So, guys, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
All right, I don't think it's a bad movie. I know a lot of you guys.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys loved it. I just one battle after another. I didn't love it like everyone else. So hear me out. I think it's a good movie. But I went into the screening and the journalists were like, best of the decade, all that sort of stuff, and I was like, not quite for me, but really good. Yeah. But really good, all the same.
I'm lucky that I'd actually filmed the one battle after another before this happened.
Who did it? Was it you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
cool.
did at the start. What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film of 2025?
Oh, in a film of 2025, I swear. Remind me of the. I thought it was incredible. Yeah. And I also thought the young child that played the younger version of him as well was also really good, because you have to see the transition from where the tick sort of started for him towards then his journey into adulthood, and I really enjoyed it. I thought both performances were great. So yeah.
Great picks. What is the most underrated film of 2025 in your opinion?
I don't even know if it's underrated. I just don't think people knew about it. But The Ballad of Wallace Island, I thought it was an incredible movie. I loved it. One of my favourites of the year for sure.
Yeah, the great pick.
Yeah.
Who's your breakout star of 2025?
All right, so if I do Chase, it's kind of cheating, right?
You can say Chase, but
I don't know. He hasn't done a movie, but I think Owen Cooper's got like a bright future.
Yeah.
So Owen Cooper and Adolescence, and then he was in like a TV series called Film Club with Amy Lou Wood. Stunning, like really good. So yeah, both. I think between both performances, him for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
Like, this is a bit like, it's not PG, so don't judge me, right?
Go for it.
But it's Mary's line in Sinners. I'm not gonna say it all.
You can say it. You can say it.
You maybe. I'm not gonna say it all. But when she was like, "You stuck your tongue in my cues," blah 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 blah.
I'm sorry. How did you both get that line? How that?
Hear me out. One, the delivery was incredible, and two, it's the reaction you get from Smoke afterwards because it really caught him off guard. Yeah. That
keep your voice down.
yeah. Exactly. Because obviously he's a bit controversial, shall we say?
Yeah. Looking ahead to 2026.
Sorry, guys, my bad.
Looking ahead to 2026, what is a bold film prediction you have for 2026?
Well, it's not bold, but I just think people are saying Doomsday's not. It's gonna do over $1 billion easy. Aside from that, you know what I'm gonna say? Brand New Day will be the best Spider-Man movie.
Whatever.
For Tom. For Tom. I know everyone loves Spider-Man 2. It's a great movie, so yeah.
So moving on to some other exciting films for next year. The Odyssey, and we have Dune Messiah coming up. Which of the two are you looking forward to most, and which do you think is going to be better?
I'm actually looking forward to Dune more.
Okay.
And I think Denny as a director, I think is ever so slightly has a broader. I think he's got a broader skill set personally as a director. I think Nolan excels at a lot of things that he's really good at, but I think from a visual perspective as well, a lot of Denny's movies tell a story through the visuals. I think some of Nolan's movies can kind of have the same kind of look.
Okay.
But I'm still looking forward to The Odyssey. I thought the trailer was really interesting and the score was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aside from The Odyssey, aside from any MCU projects, aside from Dune Messiah, what is your most anticipated film of 2026?
I haven't seen Hamnet. I know that's out New Year's Day.
Yeah, I think January it comes out.
January? I haven't seen it, didn't get to see it, but I've heard everyone at LFF that was there was saying it's like, it's the film.
Yeah, we're going to hear about it very soon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of talk about cinemas recently. Why do you think going to the cinema and that theatrical experience is the best way to watch a film? Or not, maybe.
I think there are certain movies that you see and something might happen in the movie. For example, like you might get a jump scare or a moment that makes you laugh or makes you tear up.
Yep.
And it's the unison of everybody experiencing that same thing at the same time, whether it's funny or not, whether it was like a tearjerker. I think there's something beautiful in experiencing a movie in a communal environment at the same time.
Yep.
And I struggle to watch movies at home. Like Netflix movies and so on. I really do struggle with those. So when I'm in the cinema, it's like I'm locked in. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely, man. And finally, guys, do you think 2026 is going to be a better year for film than 2025?
I don't know if it would be better for originals.
Okay.
We've had some crazy originals this year, like One Battle.
Yep. Oh.
Sinners, like some really good original movies. Like for next year might be bigger in scope. You know, you got Dune, you got Odyssey, you got Brand New Day, you got Doomsday. Yeah, Doomsday. So it might be bigger, but not better.
Okay, well, there you go. Those are some quick fire questions. Do you want to tell the folks what film you're going to be talking about?
Well, can I disclaim I wanted to do The Ballad of Wallace Island, right? Kinda. But I went with Weapons because I'm not a horror guy. and I've never really been. I don't hate horror, but it's never really been my genre.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that movie much more than I expected, and I had no clue going into it what to expect.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the chapter-based storytelling they used in the movie, because it wasn't like this chapter starts, next chapter starts, and it's like we're continuing on from the previous chapter.
Yeah.
It kind of took us back a bit at times towards moments where the story hasn't been told just yet, filled in some blanks and then moved the story forward. And I really enjoyed each chapter, some more than others, of course.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it focused on a particular character,
yeah,
and how they all intertwine into like one story.
Yeah, definitely. The structure is something that definitely stands out about the film. For anyone who hasn't seen Weapons, doesn't know what Weapons is about, how would you describe it to them?
There's a school teacher played by Julia Garner, I forgot her character's name, and almost all of her class go missing except for one student called Alex. And it's essentially a journey and a hunt towards finding out what's happened to her students and who is the person that's caused their disappearance, if it is somebody. So yeah, but without spoiling it, yeah.
Interesting. And when was the first time you watched this film? Did you watch it in the cinema?
Yeah, I watched it. Wasn't a premiere. Sorry. It weren't a prem. It was a multimedia, which was cool.
Yeah. Oh, sick, man. So you spoke a little bit about the fact that you're not typically a horror guy. Do you think Weapons has somewhat made you open your eyes a little more to horror, or you're going to be a little more keen to maybe explore that genre a bit more?
I think this year as a whole, and maybe the back end of last year, there's just been like a renaissance of not just horror, but like good horror. And even some of the like traditional franchises like Final Destination. I also enjoyed that movie, and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. Interestingly, I don't think Weapons is a straight on horror. I think it's a blend of genres, which might have helped.
It's really funny as well.
It's crazily, stupidly funny. In fact, I think it's both a comedy and a horror. Is there a thing for that?
Comedy horror, yeah.
Comedy horror, yeah. I think it's both of those. So.
Absolutely. And I think it also makes sense because Zach Cregger comes from a comedy background, a bit like Jordan Peele comes from a comedy background, and how he's sort of been able to put his own like unique print on the genre as well, for sure. Had you seen Barbarian before?
No, but I've heard.
Have you seen it since?
No, but I need to. Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it? Yeah. I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, I'm on it.
Is there any particular moments in Weapons that stand out to you?
It's one or two. It's one of two, shall I say. The first one, I think it's chapter 4 when the drug addict goes into the house and he's like, what the fuck? And he runs back out. That was brilliant. And I really enjoyed that chapter because him being the one to find the kids goes against what he should be able to do as a quote unquote drug addict who's got no life opportunities or no prospects. But he was the one that sort of helped crack the code with Paul Alden Ehrenreich's character, the police officer. So that chapter was that part of the movie, or the end when Amy Magdalene's character gets like chased through.
Sure, yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, definitely. And why do you reckon? Because I mean, you said that this kind of you just sort of almost. This wouldn't be a film that you would typically seek out to go and see. So for anyone who's sort of in a similar position, why would you say Weapons is a film that you need to see?
Firstly, I just think it's a mesh of genres. It's also quite thrilling. I think it's got a lot of thriller elements. I think it's very much hilarious. It's got comedy in it, and the comedy's delivered really well. The acting cast are great. So you've got like Josh Brolin, Alden Ehrenreich, Julia Garner, who's had a great year. Benedict Wong. It's like a really, really good cast. Each chapter is very much focused on its individual characters. So you get to know them, their story, but you're not necessarily 100% in the know as to who's involved or who's at fault until maybe like chapter 5, I think.
Yeah.
And so, those are my two main reasons. I think it's really well told, and I enjoyed the mesh of genres.
Amazing. And I just do want to confirm that if you weren't talking about Weapons, you'd be talking about Ballad of Wallace Island or something else?
To be fair, Sinners, right?
Yeah.
Sinners would have been there. But obviously I had to be gracious because I like Eli. He's a good lad. So I was like, let Eli have Sinners. But yeah, probably The Ballad of Wallace Island is such an unexpected movie for me to enjoy just because I went into the screening not knowing what to expect. And it's such a heartfelt yet poignant movie, which delves into a lot of really interesting, like relatable themes for your everyday person.
Yeah.
And you get good performances like from the three main actors, Kerry Mulligan, Tim Key and Tom Basden. Really good.
Amazing. Well, that's a wrap on guys.
Thanks.
Coming for the season finale. You're really killing this.
It's because I'm making like room for like fidgeting, which I will do a lot of. Yeah.
Otherwise, hi, Iz.
Hi, Dylan.
Welcome to the season finale of the Popcorn Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to talk about one of your favorite films of the year in just a little bit, but of course, just like every other guest, we're going to do some quick fire questions. How are you feeling?
So good.
Okay. First up.
Yes.
What is your movie hot take of 2025?
I have several.
Please lift.
First one, and I say this because the last film I watched in LFF closing gala was 100 Nights of Hero.
Yep.
Anybody watch it?
Yep.
Pop stars should not get an automatic green light into the film industry.
Okay, interesting. Because Charlie XCX has got a film coming out next year, right? Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Any other hot takes?
Yes. I think we should stop recycling the same actors for every single film, the same like 10 to 20 actors.
Yep.
I think we should cast unknowns. And like there was this, we were just saying Vanity Fair or Variety or something article where it was like rising breakout stars of 2025. Yeah. And MBJ was there. Andrew Garfield was there. Jeremy Allen White was there. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
These are not breakout stars. These are very old men.
Well said. Very well said. Do you have any more?
Lazy storytelling, ready for streaming storytelling that is factoring in, like writers' rooms are factoring in people not paying attention and being on multiple devices whilst they're watching films.
Yeah.
And they're having like lines be repeated again and again so that the plot really gets drilled into audiences' minds. And we should stop that. We should trust our audiences to be clever and come to conclusions themselves and allow things to be like open for interpretation.
Absolutely. Yeah. What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film in 2025?
Yeah, I was going to say Jessie Buckley, but I think that's probably been overdone. So I'm going to say equal to that, but in a very different way, Muhammad Ali Eliasmir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, but he played Hamid in It Was Just an Accident.
Yep.
And I think fantastic film. Like that would probably be my choice if Hamnet wasn't my top choice. It's number 2, definitely. Brilliantly cast ensemble, but he was just excellent in providing all the comedic beats, in what is otherwise like a very heavy film.
Yep.
And you need that relief, I think. But that isn't to say he wasn't a brilliant dramatic actor as well. And I think it was such a well-paced film considering what the subject matter was.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think he really carried the tempo for a lot of it.
Yeah, really well said. Yeah. I know you just spoke a little bit about breakout stars.
Yeah.
So to set the game right.
Yeah.
Like this phrase. Who is your breakout star of 2025?
I'm actually going to say Jacoby Dupe.
Yep.
Who plays the young Hamnet. I just think that it's probably one of the best performances I've seen consistently throughout the film that a child actor has given, with the exception of Owen Cooper.
Yeah.
But that's TV.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Jacoby Dupe for film. Just so sensitively and like maturely portrayed. Like micro expressions were incredible, and like I say, like better than so many kind of adult contemporaries. Yeah.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2026?
So I've written it down to say out loud.
Look straight into
Are you gonna beep it out?
I don't know.
So it was Mary in Sinners.
Oh no.
She goes, I heard you loud and clear. But then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard I figured you'd change your mind. And it was like you had to be that. You had to be on Twitter at the time. Like every other tweet was that line. And I just think it was brilliant.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Looking ahead to 2026, do you have any bold film predictions for 2026?
I have one, but you're not going to like it, so I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
I think Wuthering Heights.
Whoa.
It's about this Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, it's about to, you guys are still going on about this. Oh my god.
Me and Clara, for context, me and Clara just love trolling.
Clara's come round actually. She's seen Marty Supreme recently.
I liked
Should I pull up the DMs anyway? I think Wuthering Heights will be everyone's favorite hate watch.
Okay.
I think me and others are very much looking forward to hate watching it. I think that, I think it was said already, but indie horror will continue to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
I think we've seen some excellent horror this year, and there's a lot coming out next year as well that I'm really excited for. And I think also romance is going to come back in like a big way. I think we've kind of seen it, like really interesting interpretations, like Pillions coming out. It premiered at LFF, but it's actually coming out, I think, in 2026 properly.
I think it's out. Is it out?
Is it? Oops.
Yeah.
And then the drama, which like you could argue might not be romance, but that's definitely like part of the basis of it. I think people love to love.
Yeah, no, definitely. We got to talk about some big boys next year. The Odyssey and Dune Messiah. Any of those two on your radar? Are you excited for any of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think is going to be the better of the two?
Hot take. I am really looking forward to Dune Messiah, I think, more than the Odyssey, just because I think Dune Part 2, I was like floored by. It was so incredible and somehow like outdid Dune like Part 1 for me. And I think also, I don't know if you've seen the Twitter discourse around the Odyssey. I think I don't know if it's the lighting or the color grading, seems a bit off. The costuming has received a lot of criticism. Some of like looking at Dylan nervously. I'm really excited nonetheless to see it, and I think it will be fantastic. But
okay.
I think there are very high expectations, and I'm like, will it match that? I don't know.
Sure. And like excluding those like huge blockbusters, what are some other films that you're super excited for in 2026?
Yeah, so we spoke about horror. I think there's some great horror coming out. I think there's The Bride. Jessie Buckley again. I think she'll be brilliant, and I think it will be really interesting to see that off the back of Frankenstein being so excellent.
Yes.
And I think also Werewolf is coming out. A couple of crew who I worked with in the summer worked on that and had they were really excited about it. And I saw Nosferatu at Everyman Borough, and the cinema got struck by lightning whilst we were watching it, and then there was a blackout.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm expecting similar things.
Fair. Yeah, just on the note of cinemas, why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
I mean, I don't think it's even an argument. Like, you need to go and see films in cinema. I think in terms of visual and oral, elements, like you're not going to get that sitting at home watching it on telly. Similarly, I don't watch films really at home, like, because I just don't think it chalks up to the cinematic experience. I think it's like so intimate to go to cinema alone and watch a film and just turn off your phone and be immersed in that story, and then come out and then like the lights are too bright and the outside world comes in, and then you're like left thinking about what that film meant, and you go home and you like Google like essays analyzing it and whether they affirm your opinion or not. I think that's so much fun.
So I want to also ask you, because you're an actor working in the industry, this whole new sort of consolidation that's happening between Netflix, is this something you're super concerned about as an actor who's up and coming?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I'm kind of anticipating your next question, but I think like I'm really excited to see what 2026 will bring, and kind of the years that will come, because of the number of challenges that face the industry when it comes to either mergers and acquisitions or the rise of AI, and what that means for creativity and what that means for like labor rights for actors and crew. I think despite that, like 2025 was such a strong film year, and I think it can only level up, really. I think, sorry, what was the original question?
As an actor.
Yeah.
Is this something that you're like thinking about? Is something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like as with all kind of media sources, we should expect cinema to be democratized as well. Like it's not good to have any of your media sources come from one source. And I think we're seeing kind of like a complete absence of like middling cinema. Like it's only kind of massive blockbusters or like indie micro budgets that are really like fighting, to get financing and have to make massive concessions, like Guillermo del Toro was saying with Netflix, you know, like fighting for that cinematic release. And then even then it was only, 4 weeks or something? I think that's really concerning. So go out and watch cinema.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Yeah. Okay, so Hamnet. We were amongst a couple of us, all sort of LFF buddies this year, right? And you went to LFF, you basically slept at Waterloo Station and whatnot.
Yeah. I didn't leave BFI.
Yeah, and you know, there was that one Saturday where I think all of us were there, and myself and Clara missed Hamnet, but we did catch you guys straight after, and you were in floods of tears, right? And you came out like, oh my God, this is the best film ever. To those of you who might not know what Hamnet is, confused by Hamlet.
Yeah.
Set the scene straight, please.
Yeah. So it's a adaptation of a novel by Maggie O'Farrell, I believe. And it centers upon Shakespeare's wife, the untold story of Shakespeare's wife, who in the film or the book is interpreted as Agnes. I think in real life was Anne Hathaway. And her experience and Shakespeare's experience of the grief that they face, and this isn't a spoiler, but the grief they face from the tragedy of losing their son very young and very suddenly, and how that then shapes their lives, but then also inspires Shakespeare to write Hamlet, which is, kind of loosely based on his son, and is how he processes that grief.
Yeah. We just briefly touched on you watching it at London Film Festival.
Yeah.
But of course, like, you had the screening, but then you had this whole sort of procession beforehand. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like to experience?
I think that's part of why this film is so special to me. I think, like, if you were there, like, Chloe Zhao is, I think Steven Spielberg described her as a forest nymph or like a forest witch, and I really think that she possesses this kind of like mystical energy. Yeah. Because before, when they were doing the Q&A before the film was shown, she kind of explained her process and what it was like for them, as a collective to create this film and how intimate that experience was. But she also then led us through a packed out, Royal Festival Hall, led us through a breathing exercise, which sounds absolutely like absurd, but there's something about breathing as a collective, and it was so silent you could hear like a pin drop. Yeah. And I was getting emotional before the film even started, just from that. Just from this, like, I don't know, there was something so kind of beautiful but also like really tragic about this really fleeting moment, experiencing that together.
Yeah. No, amazing. And again, we saw you afterwards, you were in floods of tears. Why are you speaking about Hamnet? Why is this film so special this year?
I think that, I think someone was saying earlier, we have seen how many hundreds, thousands of interpretations of Shakespeare and iterations of Hamlet. So to be able to create a piece of work that breathes such life into something so tragic and also brings such originality to a story that has been so overdone is so unique. And I think Chloe Zhao is so talented in that sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like so many sort of really poignant and sort of heartbreaking at times moments. We actually managed, obviously we'd heard the reaction from you guys, so we were in New York just now, had to catch it in we did see it, yeah.
Did you actually?
Yeah. Wanted to ask, because there's so many like really emotional moments in the film. Was there any particular standout scenes, moments that you can remember that particularly stick out to you?
Yeah, I feel like because I started crying probably like 15, 20 minutes in and then didn't stop. Sure. And I have to say, I wasn't even like the worst of the people that packed out.
Yeah, Panwa was the worst.
Well, this one had to get escorted out. It was crazy. There was a girl there who like couldn't breathe. Like she was like body racking, sobs. But I think Jacoby Dupe was just so excellent in his portrayal. There was kind of these parallel scenes of him. Trying not to like spoil too much, but basically on the stage at the Globe with kind of that kind of iconic wallpaper of the forest behind him. The first scene being him looking so confused and scared, and then kind of the parallel towards the end of the film, of acceptance and kind of walking towards the veil or the wings of the stage. And I thought that was such a beautiful kind of full circle moment. But then also like Chloe Zhao makes nature itself like a character in the film, and it is so mystical, and it really grounds this story of tragedy and grief and sudden loss, and also the women in the film, I think, just generally like not necessarily in a front-footed way, but I think the matriarchs grounded the story, and there was something so mystical and like spiritual about their beliefs and Agnes's family being connected to the forest, and like the scene of her giving birth. I think motherhood has been a really kind of poignant theme in a lot of films that we've seen this year, and I think Jessie Buckley depicts it so well.
Yeah, absolutely. It has some like truly incredible performances from Jessie Buckley, from Paul Mescal, from Jacoby Jube. If what you've just said wasn't enough to convince someone to go and see the film when it comes out here in the UK in a couple of weeks, why should someone go see Hamnet?
So I've seen a lot of mixed reviews actually about this film.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of criticism, so much so that some people are calling it trauma porn, which I think is insane. And that's because and that's because I think people, the media that we consume, and I don't mean this in terms of like high form media necessarily, like cinema, but like the everyday, like you're on your phone, you're on TikTok, blah blah blah, is so sanitized, and we are so kind of inundated by grief that we are like lobotomized to it now. And I think that when people are faced with such kind of timeless themes like that, or such tragic themes as outliving your child, I think people can't handle it. Yeah. Like I think audiences can't handle it, and I think also it doesn't really spoon feed telling you how to feel, like telling you how to deal with that. And I don't think there's really like a resolution, you know, at the end of the film. And I think people find that really hard to deal with.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Gosh, yeah.
So you should watch it
definitely
experience that.
Yeah. Looking past Hamnet, if you weren't talking about Hamnet, is there any other films from 2025 that you might be talking about?
I mean, I mentioned It Was Just an Accident. I think that is an excellent film. I also I'm so kind of in awe of the lengths that people go to create art, despite facing persecution. Jafar Panahi made that in Iran with no permits. He has been in and out of jail, politically persecuted so many times. The film had to, I think, get smuggled to France to be edited. Similarly with Seed of Sacred Fig, the year before at LFF. Similarly, like No Other Choice, I thought was excellent. Just so immersive, so creative. But then also I have to shout out Die My Love. I thought that the writing on that was excellent. Lynn Ramsey, Alice Birch, who I'm a big fan of. And there was this one scene, I think we spoke about it, of Jennifer Lawrence standing over a writing desk with like kind of an inkwell spilled over a page. And she had just breastfed, again, motherhood. And like there was a drop of milk that dropped onto the page, and it transitioned into like the night sky, the starry night sky. And I thought that was absolutely stunning. So.
Well, there you go. That's what Rap On is. Thanks so much. Okay. Hello, Clara. So nice to be having you back on the couch.
Yeah, long time.
It's been a while. Yeah. Of course. Let's get cracking. So we're gonna do some quick fire questions. Give me a hot take that you had from cinema in 2025.
Well, one is that I actually think the ending of House of Dynamite was genius.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mathew's just like.
Also the market. It's not a hot take, but the marketing for Marty Supreme has been genius and is what films should be doing.
Interesting. There we go.
Not that I.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film in 2025?
Well, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, which is what I will talk about. shout out to Ray Fiennes in 28 years later. Yeah.
What is, in your opinion, the most underrated film of 2025?
I loved Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
Weapons got loads of attention, but I actually preferred Bring Her Back. I thought I found it very emotional. Really loved that film.
Yeah. Breakout stars. Who is your breakout star of 2025?
I mean, there was loads of great kids this year, I think. From Hamnet to Life of Chuck. I thought he was brilliant. I can't remember his name. But I would go with actually Odessa Izyan from Marty Supreme. I thought she was brilliant.
Fantastic. You crazy. What is your favourite or one of your favourite lines from a film in 2025? Oh gosh. Please don't say the Cooch one again.
It's not that one, it's way more nerdy. I'm going to paraphrase it, it's not going to be exact 'cause I'm not an actor and can't learn lines. But stars are just math, and looking up at the night sky is the greatest equation of the universe or something from Life of Chuck.
Yeah. There was another one from Life of Chuck which was like about like dreaming and what was it? Do you know the one I'm talking about? No? Okay.
Yeah, but I like the ones that are about maths.
No, it's like something... I'll find it later. Anyhow, looking ahead to 2026, what is your bold film prediction for 2026?
Well, there's been loads of film predictions about like whether or not Doomsday will make money. My prediction is that Doomsday is just not going to be very good. I don't have any faith in it. I don't know how much money it will make, but I don't think it's going to be good.
Is that your hot take?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The Odyssey or Dune Messiah? This is a conversation me and you have had a lot of...
And can I just say, you stole a lot of my points in your bit? No, I'm joking.
You're going to be before me in the video, so you can say whatever points you want. What are you looking forward to more?
Hey, wait, I haven't...
I'm finishing the question.
Oh, okay, fine.
The Odyssey or Dune Messiah? Which are you looking forward to more, and which do you think is going to be better?
Okay, I'm looking forward to Dune Messiah more.
Okay.
It's partly because I've read the books, and no spoilers, but Dune Messiah is very, very different in tone, in energy, in time period to the Dunes that we've seen. And I just feel like I'm so excited to see what Denis is going to do with it, especially as I've loved part 1 and part 2. Everyone thought it was unadaptable. And Messiah, if anything is unadaptable, is unadaptable. And I'm just so intrigued to see what he's going to do with it. And I love his filmmaking, his like the gorgeousness of the worlds he's created. I'm so excited. And Odyssey I'm looking forward to. But what I love about the Odyssey is like, and this is so cringe, but like the romance and the poetry, like it is a huge poem. And I feel like Nolan being such a cold director, like I think he's brilliant, like unbelievably brilliant, but I'm less excited for his version of the Odyssey as I'm like excited for Denis' version of Dune, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Aside from the Odyssey, aside from Messiah, clearly not the MCU, but moving ahead of all those blockbusters, moving past them, what would you say is your most anticipated film of 2026?
I know people have already seen it, so I don't know if it counts, but Bone Temple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I really liked 28 Years Later.
Did you say so good? Okay.
Yes.
Your review's under embargo, then they're going to come to you. Looking ahead to the cinemas, right? Why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
Well, lots of people have cited the sort of escapism thing and like switching off from the world, which I so hear and is great. Like I love going to the cinema alone as well. But I think there is also...
Thanks.
Wait for the rest of my point.
Should we sneak it out of the night to go to the cinema? Sorry, go on.
Okay. You're making me laugh. But I think there's something to be said about the shared experience of going to the cinema, and it's different from when you sort of watch something alone on your phone or on your laptop, which is you're not just watching it with like your partner or your friends and get to chat about it afterwards and have that shared experience, which I loved from the London Film Festival and things like that, being able to really experience films together. And I think as someone else said, it's such a subjective thing, watching films and like perceiving art, and then being able to see how everyone else reacts from their own life and their own perspective on things is just like another super valuable part of cinema. But even if you're alone in a cinema with just a whole bunch of strangers, just like people have been speaking about their experience of like hearing people cry in Hamnet or laugh in like Splitsville or whatever. I don't think it was watching the cinema, but
Matthew was like laughing at himself.
But like, I think there's something to be said for like having that, like even with strangers, that experience of like collectively enjoying something, and like all being just present for that thing and not being distracted by like phones and everything. I think today, like, there's very few things that people actually still come together with other people to do, and even if you're not necessarily talking to them, I still think it's really lovely.
Yeah, really well said. And 2026, do you think it's going to be a better year for film than 2025?
I don't know. I think 2025 has really shocked me with the amount of sort of like films that have sort of, I mean, for me, come out of nowhere almost, and been just brilliant, like a lot of more original things. Whereas I know next year we've got like some franchises coming to an end and obviously Nolan's films. So I think it'll be great for blockbusters. Yeah. But who knows? I hope I'm surprised by 2026 and it's also a great year for originals.
Very good, very good. So, your film, if the lights don't quite give it away, do you want to tell everyone what film you're going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. The Blue Moon is not about a moon that's blue. It's about something else entirely. Do you want to shed a little light on what exactly this film is about?
Yes, and I did look up everyone's names in the film before doing this, so let's hope I get them right. Blue Moon is about a song lyricist, Lawrence Hart, who worked with Richard Rodgers on sort of famous old musicals and things like that, and he's just basically been jilted by him because he's an alcoholic and is unreliable, and he's come to the opening of Richard Rodgers' new show Oklahoma, which is a huge success, and he's in the bar basically waiting for everyone to come out, and then everyone comes out and all of this kind of stuff, and it's just his interactions with everyone at that bar, from the bar staff to the woman he's in love with to his ex sort of writing partner and things like that. And it's just, you know, it's just so human, and you get to sit with that character and just experience all the different parts of his life for an evening, basically.
Yeah, and we watched this together at the London Film Festival. We saw Richard Linklater come out. Ethan Hawke was there as well. A super special film on a super special occasion. You're pretty adamant that you wanted to do Blue Moon, despite all the great films that have come out this year. Why? What is it about Blue Moon that you specifically found incredible?
I think it was partly at the moment we watched it, like you said. We just watched a couple of films like Begonia and After the Hunt, which are very sort of, like, one of them's good and one of them is less good. But just sort of very miserable about what life is, and very sort of cold and detached, and more, I felt like, into the ideas of what they were discussing rather than like actual human experience. And I just feel like, I mean, Linklater is so talented at doing this, and he's done this throughout his career, but just sort of really sitting with someone and just experiencing like both the like beauty and absolute tragedy of their life. And I just found that really touching, and I think is one of the things that I love about film and about cinema, is that you can really like just completely experience somebody else's life in such a deep way. And I think that film just did it amazingly. And I often feel like those kind of films get shunned for sort of bigger idea films, or sort of, you know, bigger action or bigger concept. And it's just like absolutely like invaluable to be able to sit with someone for 2 hours and experience their life. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, and of course we can't talk about Blue Moon without talking about Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
One of the performances of the year. Unfortunately, probably going to get overlooked when it comes to sort of the award season. What about his performance of this character, of this person, touched a nerve?
I don't know if I would say, like, I thought he was brilliant. I thought everything he did was amazing. I thought you really got sort of the delusion of the character, and also the like intense longing to be loved, and all of the different parts of him. But I think his performance was brilliant, and I hope he doesn't get looked over for the Oscars. But I also just thought the script was amazing. Like, I think there was something in it that, you know, you're never spoon-fed, you're never told exactly what's going on. Genuine conversation, or like, you've definitely met that guy. I think everyone here has met that guy that can just ramble on for so long, and yet they let slip in between their delusion, or in between all of these things, genuinely what they're feeling, and genuinely where the sort of like vulnerabilities of their life lie. And I just think that was done so amazingly, and like in such a real way.
Yeah. Are there any standout moments from the film?
Yeah, for me it was when Ethan Hawke is with Margaret Qualley, and they're sort of in a side room. And basically, I don't think this is a spoiler, but he's sort of delusionally in love with Margaret Qualley in this sort of unrequited, like, obsessive way. And it's just when you realise that she's also in an unrequited love with somebody else. And it's that sort of, that just those two characters coming together almost in this sort of same moment of their lives, but, you know, in a complete opposite hierarchy. And I just thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, it's a film that's not necessarily going to make the loudest impact on the box office, not the most popular film. No. It's a very sort of subdued kind of release that I think is already out currently. But, you know, props to you for, like, highlighting this film. Why should someone see this film?
Again, I think it really highlights something, and I've sort of touched on this before, very deeply human. Like, what is important in your life? Is that your sort of the love or your work? Like, what gives you a sense of who you are, that validation, and almost like what happens when that goes. And it's a guy trying to deal with that. And I think that's something everyone can relate to. Like, whether it's, you know, obsessively falling in love with someone, or whether it's, you know, feeling like you have a talent for something and a drive to make something and it's sort of not being recognised, your friend turning your back on you, like all of these things that people have experienced in some form or of another. And it's just like you sit with someone and like watch it all go wrong. And as much as it's very tragic, I think it speaks to something that everyone's felt.
Yeah, really well said. And aside from Blue Moon, were there any other films this year that you would like to potentially give a shout out to?
Yeah, 28 Years Later, definitely.
Okay.
That film, I feel like, I think a lot of people have problems with it because it's maybe not a usual zombie film. But for me, I felt like the subject matter was something that was like deeply impactful for me personally. I love to see films that really highlight dignity in death and taking care of those who are dying in like a way that gives them that dignity and that peace in death. And I just thought Ralph Fiennes did an amazing job at portraying that. And as well, it's a gorgeous film with amazing action sequences and things like that, aside from its very intense and beautiful subject matter.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's a wrap on Clara. Thank you. Okay. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Nice to see you again on the couch.
See you too. Yep.
We've got a lot of orange glow in the background. Yes, I wonder what film you're going to be talking about. Before we get into that film, though, let's do some quickfire questions.
Cool.
You pride yourself on getting through quickfire questions pretty quickly, so let's see
I will try my best.
how that goes. Panwa.
Yes.
What is your movie hot take of 2025?
Okay, it's not about a specific movie, but it's an observation I've had over the last couple of years that has been confirmed this year. And that is that filmmakers, but more specifically big-name directors, are slowly transitioning into becoming the star. Over, you know, with the death of the movie star, directors and filmmakers are now more popular than ever, and they're going to be the ones selling films soon. As Nolan is the one selling The Odyssey, not Matt Damon, as Chloe Zhao is selling Hamnet, not Jessie Buckley, or as much as Jessie Buckley, and the likes of PTA or Ryan Coogler are just as responsible for the success, the commercial success of their films as Leo and Michael B. Jordan. So I think filmmakers are going to be the stars very soon.
Very well said.
It's a good time to be a good director.
Yes, it is. What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film in 2025?
David Johnson in The Long Walk. But I'll also give two very small supporting performances that really struck with me. William H. Macy in Train Dreams, and also Billy Crudup, who gets one scene in Jay Kelly and like outacts George Clooney.
Fantastic. What, in your opinion, is the most underrated film of 2025?
I'll give you three. Materialists, Ballad of a Small Player, and Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fantastic Four. I think it's so good.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Who, in your opinion, who is your breakout star of 2025?
I think it will be David Johnson for The Long Walk. He's been growing for a couple of years now, and he's really good.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite lines from a film in 2025?
Two runners up, Jack O'Connell, Sammy, in Sinners, and also in 28 Years, where he goes, fucking go. But my favorite line of the year is actually by David Harbour in Thunderbolts.
Okay.
And it's when he asks Florence Pugh, do you remember why you wanted to be a goalkeeper when you were a kid? And it's because you wanted to be the one who could look after people when they made a mistake. So I like that one.
Oh, really nice. 2026 is coming up next. What is your bold film prediction for 2026?
It's something I don't want to happen. And it's this idea that going into the award season, I think we all know The Odyssey and Dune 3 or Dune Messiah are going to be big films. big contenders, and I'm really scared that there's going to be this one sort of small Oscar baity movie that kind of creeps up and steals Best Picture from one of them, just like Spotlight did to Mad Max and The Revenant in 2015. And I don't want that to happen.
2026, excluding The Odyssey, excluding the MCU, the DCU, Messiah, what is your most anticipated film?
I'm really surprised this hasn't been said. The Adventures of Cliff Booth. We're getting a Brad Pitt-led sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written by Tarantino, directed by David Fincher. That is top 3 for me.
I didn't realize it was actually coming out next year.
It's next year, yeah. They've finished filming it. They've wrapped.
Oh, wow. Okay. The cinema is a special place.
Yes.
Why do you think it's the best way to watch films?
It is the default state. In the same way that a gig is the best place to listen to music, a church or a temple is the best place to pray, or the bedroom is the best place to shag, the cinema is the best place to watch a movie. It is default. Right after the church, yeah.
And finally, Panwa, in your opinion, do you think 2026 is going to be a better year for film than 2025?
Yes, because it'll be more ambitious.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we now go on to your film of choice that you saw as recent as yesterday.
Yes, I did.
Do you want to tell the folks what it is?
Follow.
It's a
Marty
podcast,
Supreme.
you got to speak. Yeah.
Schwepp.
Tell us what Marty Supreme is about. Tell us a little bit about it.
Marty Supreme is a 1950s set thriller/comedy of errors about a young man who commits numerous acts of tomfoolery in order to make it to a ping pong tournament. Yeah. Amidst other things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. And you experienced this yesterday. Where did you see it?
I saw it at the Cineworld in Wandsworth, in a packed theatre, by the way, and a very diverse crowd. Every kind of person you could think could be there, and more was there.
Amazing. And it's up. I assume it's up there with like the very, very best of the
for sure.
The year for you. What is it about Marty Supreme that makes it so special?
It's balls. Primarily, it's orange balls. This is a film that is so incredibly audacious and brave and swings for the fences to the point where it gets actually kind of freaky at points. But with that, this is such a more is more movie, such an excessive movie that also has the rare quality of knowing when less is more. And as big as its balls are, its heart is equally big. So for every moment of extravagance and excess is something of tenderness and sincerity. And I would also say it impresses me because of what Josh Safdie is able to accomplish. I kind of like this film for the opposite reason Tarantino likes Dunkirk. Quick explanation. Tarantino loves Dunkirk because he says that was Christopher Nolan getting to do pure cinema, pure filmmaking, independent of Batman, independent of Gotham City, or independent of a great sci-fi concept. So he has to really get down and dirty with the fundamentals of filmmaking. On the flip side is Josh Safdie, who we've already seen him do his version of filmmaking at its purest with the likes of Good Time and Uncut Gems. But the test here is bigger budget, one of A24's biggest budgets, a big star, period setting, costumes, extras, all of this kind of stuff. Is that going to distract him from his identity as a filmmaker? No. He is able to maintain a certain level of artistic and creative integrity that many filmmakers, when they get a bigger budget, lose, as we've seen this year. PTA is not one of them, by the way. But he's able to maintain that, and that was something that really impressed me about Marty Supreme.
Fantastic. And of course, this is like a balls-to-the-wall film in every sense of the word, sense of the phrase. Loads of great moments in the film. What are some moments that stood out to you?
I'll give you two, both towards the end, but I won't spoil too much. There is a moment when he arrives in Japan where he's speaking to this judge, and the judge is basically saying, look, you've not done enough. You're not, this is it. You're not good enough. You've not come far enough. And it cuts to Chalamet's face, and for 5-10 seconds, you see this look that just makes you go, I need you to win now. You've earned my respect. You've earned my trust and faith as the audience. And for a film and a protagonist that oftentimes does a lot of dumb shit, and it gets up to all kinds of, makes a lot of mistakes and gets up to all kinds of bad things, finally he earns your faith as the audience. And then also the final shot, which is my favorite final shot of the year and one of the best final shots I've seen in recent memory. It takes everything you think you like about the film, flips it on its head, and says, actually, maybe all of that was redundant, because what happens at the end is so much more important than what the character could ever imagine. and it means so much more to him than it could ever imagine. And that was the victory. And that, nearly brought me to tears. That was a very, very good final shot.
Yeah, you touched on like the sort of emotion of the film and whatnot. I can't talk about Marty Supreme without bringing up the stellar marketing campaign that, the entire team, none more so than Timothy Chalamet himself. What is it about Marty Supreme's campaign do you think has captivated audiences, captivating yourself before you've even...
I think it's the audacity.
Yeah.
I think it's this unrelenting arrogance almost to get grown men and women to queue for hours and hours and hours to drop 250 quid on a jacket that isn't even in the movie. Or going to the big sphere and turning it into a ping pong ball. It's the fact that just because I can, the phrase, just because you can doesn't mean you should. He's shoulding and he's doing it all. And I think, brilliant. Big balls.
Fantastic. And Marty Supreme just has recently come out in the UK.
Yeah.
Why should people run to the cinema to go see this?
Well, because like any good film does, I think it'll make you understand a little bit more about the medium, but it'll also, I think, make you understand a little bit more about yourself, and that self-belief is important, that following your dreams, dreaming big, and, accepting that you are a product of your decisions and owning that and owning your responsibilities, your mistakes, but also your ambitions is important. And being proud of all of these things is important. And I think this movie speaks to that beautifully.
And finally, Panwa, if you weren't talking about Marty Supreme, what film would you be talking about?
Well, of the films that aren't covered in this video, Long Walk probably, but I'd happily make a case for Avatar 3 as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Avatar.
Well, thank you so much, Panwa.
Thank you for having me.
That's a wrap on Panwa.
Woo!
Camera 1, camera 2.
Eli.
Yes.
It's only Eli. Hello. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to have you back for another season finale.
Good to be back.
We're going to do some quick fire questions before you get talking about your film of the year. Mm-hmm. So let's get straight into them. So what is your movie hot take of 2025?
Movies like Minecraft should not be made anymore.
That's so direct.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film in 2025?
Excluding the ones from my favorite film, I want to say Channing Tatum as Jeffrey Manchester in Roofman.
Very good. Very good. What is the most underrated film of 2025 in your opinion?
I'm going to go with Elio.
Elio,
yeah.
Oh, interesting. I feel like Elio went sort of under the radar.
No one spoke about it.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch took over.
Yeah. Breakout stars. Who is your breakout star of 2025?
You might not like this, but my breakout star of 2025 is Miles Caton from Sinners.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was hoping someone was eventually going to bring him up because
you said pop stars coming into...
You know what? I was directing it on purpose.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, cool. What, a smoke, right?
Lines of dialogue in 2025. What has been your favorite or one of your favorite lines of 2025?
Okay, I have two.
Sure.
The first one is from Pa Kent when he's telling Clark that your choices, your actions, that's what makes you who you are.
Yep.
And the second one is from Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, where he says, "You like black girls? I love them."
Looking ahead to 2026, Eli.
Yeah.
What is your bold film prediction for 2026?
I'm gonna say that the DCU is gonna overtake the MCU in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a hot take. The Odyssey and Dune Messiah. Which one are you most excited for? Which do you think is going to be better?
I think that Dune Messiah is going to be better, but I'm more excited for the Odyssey. Okay. I love Greek mythology, man.
Fantastic. Your most anticipated film of 2026, excluding any sort of comic book films, The Odyssey or Dune Messiah?
I'm going to go for Hoppers, the Disney film.
Yeah.
Animation.
Awesome. The theatrical experience.
Yes.
Why do you think it is the best way to watch films?
I think everyone's kind of said like the kind of key bits already, but I'm just going to say the community. I was at the HAMNET thing where Chloe Zhao kind of like led us all into that breathing exercise. And from that moment on, I feel like everyone was just on the same wavelength. Even the people that didn't appreciate the film, you were still able to lock in. When you're watching other movies like the Marvel movies, and I know this has kind of killed cinema etiquette, but every time a character pops up on screen that you all love, that shared joy of cheering for them, of like wanting them to win, watching Roofman and everyone was like physically agitated at the fact that he was making these stupid decisions. That shared experience is what makes cinema for me, and the fact that you get to do that with strangers. Yeah. Obviously, like, the directors are making this film with that in mind. Like, they want you to be locked in. They're making these shots in a certain way to evoke certain emotions. And sometimes, like, watching at home or on your phone, you don't have the facilities or the capacity to, like, achieve that same immersion, right? So yeah, keep going to cinemas, guys. It's the best way to do it.
Absolutely, man. And 2026, do you think it's going to be a better year for film than 2025?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Overall,
yeah.
I think it's going to be better. Blockbusters, indies, yeah.
Fantastic. So, Eli, you're back on the couch talking about arguably the film of the year. It's certainly, you know, a lot of people's favorite film of the year. Would you like to kindly reveal what film you're going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm joking. I'm talking about Sinners, Ryan Coogler's Sinners, that came out in April this year. Yeah.
Yes. Pretend like someone's been living under a rock.
Okay.
Well, how would you describe Sinners to them?
Sinners follows two brothers who've been away from Mississippi, and they come back after 7 years, give or take, to have one more night of freedom. They open up a juke joint that has been sold to them by a member of the clan. Obviously, we don't know this till later on, and then their plans get kind of ruined by a vampire. And yeah, it's kind of seeing how they survive the night.
How did you first watch this film?
I first watched it in Cineworld IMAX.
At the Leicester Square?
Leicester Square, yeah. That was like the only one when I came back.
Yeah.
Just flown in straight from the airport to Cineworld.
Oh, yeah, because you were in Japan, correct?
I was,
yeah, that's crazy. And since that first viewing, how many times have you seen it?
5. I watched it again this morning before I came here.
Well, we love a guest who preps before the episode. I mean, I feel like there's so much to talk about with Sinners, but what about the film, you know, struck a nerve with you? Why are you talking about Sinners?
I think, like, everyone kind of knows this already. Like, the film has so much themes and undertones going for it. From the first scene you see with Sammy, that like there's just so much text to kind of uncover the way he talks about religion, the way he's gripping onto that guitar, the way the music kind of like is in sync with the beats of the film, how he's walking, how he's kind of hugging his dad. All these things kind of symbolize something to do with music, to do with the evolution of music, the evolution of storytelling, how kind of people are trusted with telling stories from different kind of communities and like religions and tribes, and how that also comes into Remick, who's the villain of the film per se, how that comes into his plan and why he wants Sammy. So I think from like a Christian perspective, from just the worldly perspective as well, there's so much to discuss, so much to uncover, and they do that very well through the use of the camera. I think the switch between the IMAX lenses to the regular camera, it being shot on film as well, there's a lot less waste, and you can see that. Like, every shot feels very deliberate. The costumes are amazing. I could go on about Sinners. It's such a good film. But yeah, I think when the costumes, with the music, the way Ludwig Göransson like wrote those songs, I heard some of them he actually did live as they were actually filming, and you can see that like it does have an impact to the direct theme of kind of evolving these two brothers. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I rambled on for
no. I mean, like I said, like, there's so many aspects that you can sort of pull apart and discuss, and so many reasons why this is arguably the best film of the year. Mm-hmm. In terms of kind of like how Sinners fits in with the kind of blockbuster landscape, I feel like Sinners is very different from what you normally associate big blockbusters with, because it's able to sort of, you know, blend together so many different genres, right? Like, you know, some people are like, oh, should I go see Sinners? I heard it's a horror film. I'm like, no, bro, it's, you know, you're good, but it uses that genre. Do you want to talk a little bit about Ryan Coogler, how he's evolved as a filmmaker, and why you think this is his best film or not?
Yeah, I think from like Fruitvale Station, he says actually that he doesn't just like see it as his best film. He sees it as the best film he could have made at this age. Yeah. And I think that's a very like humble opinion to have, because you can see that through his filmmaking. Like, from Fruitvale Station to now, you've seen the growth. You've seen that if he has the creative liberty to handle a film the way he wanted it to be made, you can see that he can actually deliver a great film. This is a very expensive movie, but I feel like from the end result, you can see where every penny went. Yep. From the costumes, you can see that the two characters who are played by the same person, I think it takes a lot to kind of perform a film like that in that heat in Mississippi, and I think he should get an Oscar nomination for that. But I think from just like seeing how different you could see two characters played by the same person through their body language, through their costuming, through kind of the way they move. It takes a great director and a great cast, and I think that blend between Coogler and Michael B. Jordan has carried through in every single film they've done together, from Creed, from Fruitvale Station. And I think also the fact that Michael B. Jordan was able to direct a film before working on Sinners kind of helps their relationship.
Yep.
And you can see that they trust each other. They know that it's not just an actor-director performance. This is just them translating this language for us, the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Sinners is obviously a super exciting film with so many great moments. What are some of the moments that stand out to you in the film?
The biggest one, obviously, is like that evolution of music scene. I think the way the camera moves, the fact that they're limited by so much, but they're able to achieve it through like hidden cuts, and you know, they can't film that long on the kind of cameras they were using, but they're able to like seamlessly edit it, and like the blocking as well was fantastic. Like how every kind of new era of dance or new culture of dance fits in with the background character that we followed, and how that's also important for them because it shows that he's not just putting in random things. Like everything there tells a purpose. Like I spoke earlier about how there are people in different cultures that are trusted with storytelling. You have the griots in kind of South Africa and West Africa. You have the firekeepers in the Choctaw land. You have I forgot what they're called in Ireland, but there's so many different people that are trusted with these things. And from each of those perspectives, there is some sort of semblance, some sort of representation. And the fact that he's able to achieve that in a very hot, like, shooting environment. I know I keep going back to the heat, but I think it's very important to talk about this. But going back to where he shot the film, how long he had to rehearse, they had to rehearse to make this thing, and the end product being that magnificent, I think we need to talk about that more. The second scene I think I love is obviously the Rocky Road to Dublin. I think in that scene as well, you get to know more about Remick as a character. A simple song that tells you so much about the character. I think he does a lot more, especially in a world where we're so used to being spoon-fed a lot of things. The fact that he actually allows us to uncover these things for ourselves by going back to see it again, or going home and watching a video that someone's done explaining things. He achieved a great feat, and I love that movie.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And personally, how did the film, I mean, I'm sure it connected with you on many levels, but do you want to talk a little bit about how this film personally connected with you and its impact that it's had on you? Yeah.
I cosplayed Smoke at Comic-Con, and I think it's crazy that he's got the same name as me, but because it's Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah.
So me and Ellis, we cosplayed Sinners, and in the process we had to obviously try be as screen accurate as possible. So we're looking at all these interviews by Ruthie Carter and what she was kind of thinking about making them, and you find out so much about the 7 years that they lived in Chicago through just what they're wearing and how they're representing different gangs, what they were doing to rob these people, what they were like, and how they kind of go back together, and why they needed to do that thing, that the juke joint that night. You think about it, you've been away for a while and everyone kind of thinks you've kind of fallen off, but through their presence, they're able to bring people back to celebrate like culture. It's a bootleg thing, and I know a lot of kind of black soldiers in that time were hired to be like guards and stuff, or kind of bootleg shindigs like that. But for them to own it, I don't know, it felt like, yeah, we're not just being put in these places, and like, you know, horror films typically like the black character will die first, or they're comedic relief, and in this they're kind of owning the narrative and they're like leading it. So yeah, it meant a lot from every aspect of it.
I hope it does really well come awards season.
Yeah, I hope so.
In the coming months. But you never know. You know, I feel like it's definitely the people's choice, without a doubt, this year. I'm sure we could talk all day about Sinners, but if you weren't talking about Sinners,
if I wasn't talking about Sinners, I would probably be talking about Sentimental Valley. It was like, it's between My Supreme, Sinners, and Sentimental Valley. Hamnet's like fourth, but yeah, those top three, it would have been either of them.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Eli.
Dylan.
Yes.
Now it's time for you to answer.
That is correct.
Quick fire questions.
Let's do it.
Firstly, what is your movie hot take of 2025?
This one I really struggled with. I know some people, Matty, are spoiled for choice on these hot takes, but for me, I really struggled with this one. I'm going to go with one I hope is not true, but I'm going to just say it. I think 2025 had Tom Cruise's last film that he's ever going to make over 500 mil at the box office. For I think the last Mission Impossible film is going to be kind of, I hope not, but I think that's going to be the sort of the final sort of big impact he has at the box office, I would say. So unless he goes and makes Top Gun 3, which even then we don't even know if it's going to hit $1 billion. But yeah, my hot take is I think Tom Cruise has peaked with The Final Reckoning at the box office. I don't think he's going to have a film that is as commercially successful in his later career. But never doubt Tom Cruise.
What is your favourite or one of your favourite performances in a film in 2025?
My loads of great performances, but I would say one that stands out to me is Lee Byung-hun from No Other Choice. He's the lead actor in that film. Brilliant performance. He's able to balance so many different kind of tones. It's a satire that goes really dark, but is also absurdly funny at times. And he's able to, as the lead, kind of balance all of these different flavors really, really well. So I'd say Lee Byung-hun.
What is the most underrated film of 2025?
So another one I struggled with, but I'm going to go with Alex Garland and Raymond Mendoza's Warfare. You know, people did recognize it as a really good film, but I think that getting to the end of the year, I think it's somewhat been kind of forgotten about a little bit. So I want to bring it back. I want to say Warfare. I think it is Alex Garland's most genuine work since Ex Machina. That was like a full-blown assault on the ears. The sound design is some of the best I've ever sort of experienced in a cinema. So yeah, brilliant.
Who is your breakout star of 2025?
My breakout star of 2025, again, loads of great breakout stars, but I'm going to go with Chase Infinity. For me, she's the kind of heart and soul of One Battle After Another, which is the film I'm going to be talking about. She's brilliant, and she stands out also in a cast of just some of the top talent in Hollywood. So I'm going to give it to Chase Infinity.
What is your favourite or one of your favourite lines from a film in 2025?
You know what? Not my favourite, but I'm going to give a shout out to Marty Supreme's and it's only a matter of time before I'm going to be staring at you from the cover of Wheaties box. I think is brilliant. But my line of 2025, again, not to just go back to the film I'm talking about, but One Battle After Another, Benicio del Toro's character in that film is one of my favorite characters of the year. Just love that guy to bits, the character of Sensei. And essentially, towards the end of the film, he gets kind of pulled over by the police, the cops. And he's sort of there dancing, and they're like kind of questioning him. And he just sort of says, I've had a few. And the officer goes, a few what? And he's like, a few small beers. So it's just a line that I constantly just reuse now and then. I've said it like a gazillion times already today. But a few small beers is my line of 2025. Yeah.
What is your bold film prediction for 2026?
Okay, bold film prediction for 2026. I think that, we've had some recent news about, Netflix and consolidation happening within the industry, and it's in many ways a very uncertain, scary at some points times for sort of film fans, people who are fans of the theatrical experience. I think that despite this clear sort of move to a more streaming active landscape, I think 2026 is going to be one of the most profitable years for cinemas. I think not one, not two, not three, but 4 films next year are going to make over $1 billion. That's my good luck kind of prediction out there. I think, Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's an MCU film. I think that's going to hit $1 billion. I think Doomsday as well, that's like the floor. It's going to hit $1 billion. I think if Warner Brothers keep Dune on the same day as Avengers Doomsday, I think it will have this kind of symbiotic relationship similar to Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I think Dune could be pushed up, and I think it could potentially cross the $1 billion, even though part 2 and part 1 haven't quite reached that. But I think they're going to work in conjunction with each other quite well. And the last film I think is going to make $1 billion is... I almost forgot. I do think Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, I think that's going to be a huge, huge event at the cinema. So I'm going to put that out there. That's what I think.
Interesting. So, The Odyssey or Doom Messiah? What are you looking forward to more? What will be better?
Again, I'm just going to sort of speak from the heart how I'm feeling right now. It's hard not to be more excited for The Odyssey, considering the footage we've seen recently. The trailer dropped. I got to witness the kind of siege of the first sort of 6 minutes of the siege of Troy when I went to see Avatar. So, The Odyssey is the film that everybody is talking about at the moment. But are we forgetting about Denis Villeneuve? Are we forgetting about this guy? I think with The Odyssey, I kind of, even though it's a new sort of story that, you know, Nolan hasn't done, it's not a sequel or anything, I kind of have more of I kind of know what to expect a bit more with Christopher Nolan. I do think like it's already sort of looking more like a sort of similar tone to something like Dunkirk. It's going to be very atmospheric, but also Nolan is a very abstract filmmaker. You know, he's there to create an experience. But Messiah, I think, like, have we forgotten how good Dune Part 2 was? And I know we talk about Dune Part 1 and Part 2 as this kind of complete duo of films. But like, it is still somewhat of a cliffhanger that we were left on in Dune Part 2. And I hear Messiah, even though I haven't read the book on purpose, I haven't read the book. It is clearly the most sort of crazy out there one of the two, one of the sort of, you know, books. And I think it's going to be wrestling with a lot of sort of intricate themes about Paul Atreides, and it's going to take the characters in very interesting directions. I, in many ways, think it's going to be the hardest Dune film for Denis to land. But, you know, like I said, don't forget who that guy is, man. Don't forget. Daddy Denis. What?
What is your most anticipated film of 2026, excluding The Odyssey, Dune Messiah, and Avengers Doomsday?
I actually think this is arguably my most anticipated, regardless of those picks. I'm going to go with Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Spielberg's my all-time favorite filmmaker. He's the guy who made me love movies. I'm sitting here talking to you because of this guy. And it is a return to the sci-fi UFO genre, a genre he was very much pivotal in creating. What can I say? This is like every Spielberg's fan's dream. The first trailer came out. It looks insane. It's got such a talented cast. It's got Emily Blunt. It's got Josh O'Connor. I'm super excited to see Spielberg work with new actors. It also has the GOAT, John Williams, coming out of retirement one last time to score the film. So I would go with Disclosure Day. But, you know, off the top of my head, there's so many great films coming out next year. The Social Reckoning, even though it's directed by Aaron Sorkin, I'm just lucky that I get to hear and see another Sorkin screenplay come to life. You know, Greta Gerwig's Narnia is, you know, fantasy. I'm excited to see her sort of take on that. The Bride, Maggie Gyllenhaal, so many great films coming out. So, but yeah, Disclosure Day I think is taking it for me.
Why do you think the theatrical experience is the best way to watch films?
Well, I'm sure many of you've heard many reasons already from guests sitting on this couch, but I think for me, like, you know, aside from it being the kind of most immersive, the peak of the way of experiencing films, I think for me personally, it's where most of my favorite memories have been. A lot of my memories over my life have been inside cinemas, you know, experiencing a story unfold before my eyes. And, you know, films, you know, are the ultimate collaboration of all art, you know, music, sound, images, acting. They're all working in conjunction with each other. And I think to deprive yourself of experiencing all of that in the best way possible, you know, you're doing the artists a disservice. And also, let's be honest, how many times have we heard people say, oh, I wish I watched that in the cinema? You know, people who haven't seen it, oh my God, I wish I watched that in the cinema. I wish I didn't watch that at home on like my TV or my phone. The cinema, don't be one of those people. Go to the cinema, support cinemas. Because yeah, they are the best way to experience films.
Finally, will 2026 be a better year for movies than 2025?
I'm going to go with yes. I think it is. I think we had a great year in 2025, but I think, you know, I was just saying about kind of, we look forward to what's sort of coming up next year, and you have almost like these cinematic titans. You have Nolan with The Odyssey, you have Denis Villeneuve with Dune Messiah, you have Spielberg with Disclosure Day, and you have all these other filmmakers, kind of rising filmmakers. And in many ways, those kind of cinematic titans are almost somewhat leading the charge against this kind of, I don't know, threat on cinema. So I think that 2026, man, is bringing the motherfucking cavalry. So I'm so excited. I think Doomsday next year is going to be a hell of a time at the cinema. So I think and I hope 2026. I'm optimistic. Let's go with yes.
Dylan.
Yep.
You've said your favourite film of 2025 is One Battle After Another.
Correct.
So, in just a few words, how would you describe or summarise your film to someone who's never heard of it?
So One Battle After Another is loosely adapted, I believe, on the Thomas Pynchon novel Vineland. And it tells the story of Bob Ferguson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who is essentially this washed-up ex-revolutionary. And he's sort of living as a single dad, so to speak, with his very kind of self-reliant daughter, Willa. And essentially an old nemesis of theirs, or an old nemesis of Bob, the sort of more antagonistic presence of the film, Colonel Steve Lockjaw, played unforgettably by Sean Penn, is still hunting down the last of this ex-revolutionary group. So one thing leads to another, and Willa has to go on the run. She goes missing, and the story of One Battle After Another is as much about Bob trying to make it back to his daughter, trying to find his daughter, as it is about Willa discovering who she is and discovering her and wrestling with her identity. So it's kind of a summary of the plot. So there you go.
How did you first experience this film? Was it at the cinema? Was it at a festival?
Sure.
Was it on a sofa after work with friends?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how I did this, because this is an experience I will never forget. I was lucky enough to attend the Warner Brothers multimedia screening for the film, and it took place at the Odeon Lux in Leicester Square. Now, the special thing about this screening is the Odeon Lux in Leicester Square, as I said and mentioned in my review for the film, is one of the only 3 cinemas in the world that is able to screen films in VistaVision. And I'm not going to go into detail about what VistaVision is. There's plenty of videos online which you can go and check out. But essentially, it was a really, really exciting and quite rare experience. And I'm, super grateful that I got to have it. I took one of my best friends, Isaac, who is, like me, a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, to go and see the film. And we had such a blast. And on the second time I watched it, I went with Clara and Mickey and Panwa, and we went to the IMAX at Leicester Square, arguably my favourite cinema, my favourite screen in London, arguably, to sort of have a bit more of a louder, bigger experience with the film. So there you go.
So, out of all of the films of 2025, what made this film stand out for you? Why was it special? Why was it above everything else you saw this year? What are the best aspects of it?
Well, it's directed by one of the great American filmmakers working of all time as well, Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson. He has done so many great films. And one of the special things about Paul Thomas Anderson for me, I think, is how he's able to take such incredible stories, but he always has a slightly kind of off-kilter way of presenting the stories. There's something not quite in line there, and I mean that in the best of ways. His films are strange and weird, and that is definitely still the case with One Battle After Another. It is technically on paper a blockbuster, but it is a blockbuster unlike anything I've certainly seen before. There's so many things I feel like studio blockbusters or sort of just typical blockbusters you see just wouldn't allow, or you wouldn't be able to get away with. This is such a strange film. I don't know where to start with how weird it is. I could talk about Sean Penn's walk in this film and how it's become a sort of meme, him sort of walking like that. There's a sort of 10 to 20 minute long sequence that takes place in the middle of the film, middle section of the film, where sort of the tension is rising, and Leo's sort of going from location to location as the kind of military sort of chases him, and the tension rises, and you kind of expect a big kind of catharsis at the end of it, and it sort of just ends with him falling off a roof, which you just wouldn't be able to do that in any other kind of story. But, in the steady hands of Paul Thomas Anderson, anything is possible. But I think, just to sort of go off the term blockbuster, I think, if anything, what 2025 has kind of shown me is blockbusters almost kind of challenging our expectations of what a blockbuster is. Usually we think of kind of, big studio films like, the MCU or DC films or Star Wars films, or, even something like Top Gun Maverick, which is kind of the pinnacle of a blockbuster. But I think with films like Marty Supreme and Sinners and, of course, One Battle After Another, in many ways, I feel like those kind of films have somewhat challenged our expectations of what a blockbuster is. They are all still on paper blockbusters. They have a lot of big stars, they make a lot of money, or so far as when shooting this, they've done pretty well. One Battle After Another, not so much. It's kind of a sad thing, but on paper they're all blockbusters. But I feel like what they all do really successfully, maybe not so much Marty Supreme because it's much more of a sort of streamlined linear story, but definitely with Sinners and One Battle After Another, is they're able to combine all these kind of different genres, and on paper they really shouldn't work, but somehow they don't just work, they really, really excel. One Battle After Another is kind of, it's a high stakes political drama, but it's also this kind of screwball comedy. It's got elements of kind of an action thriller in it. There's all these kind of different flavors working in combination. And again, it shouldn't work as well as it does. but it does.
I'll have to ask you, what was a specific moment or sequence from the film you've chosen that really sealed the deal for you?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I mean, I could talk about the opening sort of prologue, the 20 minutes where like Tiana Taylor, who I've never seen perform in any film ever, so sort of comes in and sort of makes this huge statement with her performance. She is one of the most memorable characters of the year, and she's sort of mild spoilers, she's not in the film that much, but she's in that opening prologue, and her kind of presence is sort of, you feel it all throughout the film, even though she's not on screen as much. So I think the opening prologue is brilliant. Like I just mentioned, that sort of 10 to 20 minute sort of long take sequence in the middle where, you know, Benicio del Toro's sensei character is working with Bob, who's kind of having this complete crash out. He's freaking out. There's been all these memes about, like, you know, when you this is the film that kind of really accurately depicts what it's like to lose your password, with Leonardo DiCaprio like completely going bananas on the phone. But I would say the one scene or the one standout sequence that I always think of anytime anyone mentions One Battle After Another is the River of Hills sort of sequence towards the end of the film. To sort of summarize that moment, it is one of the most anxiety-inducing, nail-biting moments of a film this entire year. In essence, it's actually quite a simple sequence. There's actually not many moving parts. It is, in many ways, I feel like the most raw kind of filmmaking going on. It is just a couple of cameras, a few actors, some cars, and they're essentially going up and down hills. But, you know, you're accompanied by this just insane score by Johnny Greenwood, who, by the way, like, his entire score for this film is just completely electrifying. But such a memorable standout sequence, and just visually the way it's shot, it still amazes me how Paul Thomas Anderson is finding, you know, new and kind of innovative ways to immerse you as an audience member. And it is kind of the most sort of blockbustery moment of the film. It's the kind of pinnacle, the peak of the film, and the kind of resolution takes place in this sequence. So I would say the River of Hills sequence from One Battle After Another is probably my standout sequence. So yeah.
And how did the film connect with you emotionally, thematically, or personally?
I think in a lot of ways why I think One Battle After Another is the film of the year is because I know we can always say, you know, this term is kind of overused when talking about films, but I feel like it is a very relevant film for this year. But I mean that, you know, for 2025 specifically, but it also has this timeless quality to it. It is not just intrinsically 2025, but, you know, this is a film you can watch years down the line and still, you know, hold up to the same level of quality and effect. But I think, like, you know, in an ever increasing political landscape, there's a lot of radical politics going on. I think One Battle After Another is a film that is not, I wouldn't say it's like a radically political film, but more so a film that takes place in a world of radical politics, which is one that I think all of us can kind of in some way kind of relate to. We're seeing all these huge polarizing things happening in the world. And I think that the sort of genius of this film is how Paul Thomas Anderson essentially, you know, takes and sort of portrays modern contemporary America and does it and satirizes it and essentially makes, you know, the worst kind of people in the world, you know, white supremacists and sort of nationalists kind of look like complete, utter idiots. And it is just brilliant the way he does it. And, you know, there's so many things I can pick apart, but fundamentally, like, you know, it's got all these moving parts, but ultimately, and quite simply, it is a story about a father trying to make it back to his daughter and a daughter trying to find who her father is. So I think that in a lot of ways is something we can somewhat relate to. We're all trying to find each other in some way. It's about human connection at the core of it. So I think that is something that really resonates with me and a lot of people. So that's something that's stood out to me about One Battle After Another. Yeah.
And why should people who haven't seen it check it out?
Well, I sort of the film of the year, really, for me. I think it's sad for me that it didn't actually do too well at the box office. I think, you know, a lot of the reason for that is because it was such a hard film to market. But I think it is hands down one of the best films of the decade, one of my favorite films. You know, I mentioned how the film is led by Leonardo DiCaprio, but I do in many ways feel that this is such an ensemble piece. There's so many amazing performances in it. You know, you have veterans, you have people who've been working in the industry, the top talent for years, Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro. But you also have new talent like, you know, Regina Hall, I hadn't seen much of in films before. Tiana Taylor comes on screen. And of course, we have a rising star now with Chase Infinity, who is no doubt going to be, you know, one of the young actors to look out for. So it has a lot of things that I think a lot of people can take away from. And I just think if you want a good laugh as well, this is the film for you.
If you weren't talking about this film, which other 2025 release would you be talking about?
I feel like a lot of people have probably already spoken about those films here in this very episode, but I'm actually going to shed some light on a film that I watched at the London Film Festival this year, and it's a film by legendary filmmaker Park Chan-wook, and his new film No Other Choice I think is such a brilliant film. I think it is, just go and check it out. I think it's not going to get enough attention, enough love, but if there's another film that I want to spotlight, it is that film. So No Other Choice, that's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Dylan.
Thank you. Okay, fantastic. All right, guys, that is the end of the 100 episode season finale special of the Popcorn Podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here for this, huge episode. It's been such a delight to hear all your takes on 2025, 2026, all those special films. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. In the words of Jordan Belford from Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not fucking leaving. We've got many more episodes to come. We hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Happy New Year. And we'll catch you in 2026. We got to look at that camera and just let's do a couple of takes of different shots. So everyone just smile at the camera, like really smile. This is for the thumbnail, by the way. Okay, now everyone pull a weird face, and then everyone do a thumbs up, and then everyone just do peace signs. That's a wrap. Let's go.
Well done, Popcorn.